everybody, SonGoshuaku live here for my review of WWE WrestleMania 42 Night 1, aka on Saturday. Man, wow, I gotta be honest, do I think this was the greatest show? No. But do I think it was a bad show? No, I think it was pretty solid. Okay, let's get into it. Or as Trick Williams would say, let's talk about it. Night 1 kicks off with John Cena's first return appearance in WWE since his retirement. As he said, he was going to be now wearing the suits. I thought it was funny to see him try to run in the suit because he's so used to running in the jorts and everything like that. But yeah, I think it was really cool to kick off John Cena as the host. I have no issue with that at all. If he's willing to make appearances, why not keep entertaining? Just because he's retired doesn't mean he can't come in and say hi once in a while. So yeah, that's all really cool, all good with me. All right, so we kick things right off with our very first match, the Usos, consisting of Jimmy and Jey Uso with LA Knight, yeah, teaming up against the Vision, Logan Paul, Austin Theory, and IShowSpeed. All right, so this match was pretty solid and decent. The real thing that stood out to me was IShowSpeed. For his limited in-ring experience, man, he looked really good in there, I thought, especially when you given the athletic background that he has. I think he's in tremendous shape and everything for that. And just as I thought, LA Knight would pick up the win with the BFT. I actually thought he was going to go ahead and pin IShowSpeed. That's what I thought. I was like, okay, IShowSpeed's in here to get the viral moments, but they're also probably just going to have him take the pin so that way you protect Austin Theory and Logan Paul. But yeah, that was not the case. No, Austin Theory, they chose him to be the one to eat the pin here. And so, yeah, the Usos and LA Knight pick up the win. So, a lot of people are very angry about LA Knight's, his positioning on the card and everything. Hey, I would love to see LA Knight be the world champion, but you know what? To give WWE credit, they gave LA Knight a big spotlight here, and I thought what they did going outside the box with him attacking IShowSpeed on in his own streaming and everything like that room and stuff was good stuff, and it definitely put a lot of eyeballs on LA Knight because the first hour of this was aired on the ESPN channel, so I thought that was really was pretty good. The real big story of this match happened afterwards. Logan Paul, out of frustration, even though it was his boy Austin Theory that lost, he starts yelling like, you only had one time. Yeah, he's like, you had one job to do, one job, just one job. And he boom punches and knocks IShowSpeed's lights out. Puts him on the announce table and is about to deliver his twisting splash from the top rope / turnbuckle. But it's at this moment in the story, and I really did like the storytelling here. It's at this moment that LA Knight and the Usos have gained respect for IShowSpeed, because you got to remember, he was accidentally brought into this storyline with the way things played out in the storyline. He didn't mean to hit LA Knight, and the Vision kind of just put him in there. But I think it's like the Usos and LA Knight, they gained respect for IShowSpeed, and they had a change of heart, and it's from there that you get IShowSpeed goes ahead and he does the splash that you would see Logan Paul do. He does it off the top rope and everything, the turnbuckle, and did a beautiful looking splash, I thought, and goes right through the announce table, and it basically destroys the announce table with Logan Paul on it, and that'll be a big viral moment. I did get back on X, and I could see right there already on the spot. You were seeing right there that people were talking about like, holy crap, IShowSpeed did this and stuff like that. And man, I got a lot of respect for IShowSpeed. He's someone who really gets it in pro wrestling, and here's why. I wasn't very familiar with IShowSpeed, honestly, going back to his first appearance at WrestleMania 40 when he was in the prime drink against and Randy Orton. But what I do love, and even though I'm not familiar with him, what I really liked about IShowSpeed is that he would come in WWE with his appearances, and he still does it, and he really helps get these superstars even more over. He gives them big viral moments. Randy Orton doing the RKO to him when he was in the prime outfit, or you think about, I was there in person in Indianapolis when he had, was it Lucas Oil Memorial Stadium when he took that massive spear from Braun Breaker. Didn't matter where you were sitting. Man, that thing looked devastating, giving Braun Breaker a viral moment. He's one of these guys, and I feel like when he comes into the WWE, you know, he is there because he truly is a fan of the product, and he wants to help get these superstars over with viral moments. And how could you not respect that? You know, there are some celebrities that come in WWE and content creators who probably, you know, would only probably care about themselves or something like that, but he's not one of them, man. He puts his body on the line to get these superstars over. You could tell he's a genuine fan, and for that, I do have respect for him. And I thought it was really cool at the end. You know, I guess he goes back from heel to babyface, and the Usos and LA Knight give him respect, and we're probably going to get a Logan Paul versus IShowSpeed match. But yeah, this was good. Viral moment. WWE gets it. You know, much respect to IShowSpeed. Even as a content creator myself, my main channel is Dragon Ball. I think I heard IShowSpeed actually got permission from one of the executives at Toei Animation to use footage of One Piece in his reaction video. So that's quite a big step moving forward for content creators that like to utilize anime footage, you know, for obviously like reactions or educational purposes, or, you know, just giving their thoughts on the show and everything. So yeah, man, much respect. Overall, I thought this match was solid, decent, did what it needed to do. IShowSpeed was, I thought, the standout, and so yeah, there you go. Before we get to our next match, Ivegwad, if I said your name right, sorry if I butchered it. It's the second PG era. Didn't watch. Oh man, you feel it's this deep PG era. Honestly, I gotta say WWE is definitely gotten away from some PG tendencies and stuff like that and everything. But hey, man, even if you didn't watch, I appreciate you coming to my live stream and everything. So hopefully I can give you some good feedback, and you can decide if it was worth it or not to watch and everything, as that's exactly what these reviews are supposed to be for. All right. Oh yes, it is one of the matches I was looking most forward to on this card. Our second match was an unsanctioned match. Jacob Fatu versus Drew McIntyre. I had to go ahead and get a little water break there. All right. So this match was pretty much intense as you would expect from two guys telling the story that they hate each other. They were bringing out chairs, toolboxes, and tables. We got to see Drew McIntyre do the over-the-top rope dive. He only breaks that out every now and then, which I think is really cool because he always wants, you can tell Drew McIntyre is a performer that wants to make sure that it means something. So when Drew goes over the top rope, it's a big deal, you know? So I really appreciate it all as a fan, just seeing him keep certain moves like that special. Jacob Fatu, he was doing some beautiful moonsaults from the middle rope to the top rope. And at one point, Drew McIntyre pushes Jacob Fatu off and drives off of the he pushes him off the turnbuckle, and he ends up taking like this really sick bump from the top rope through a table set to the outside, which I gotta be honest, guys, I actually forgot there was a table set up out there and everything. And so when I saw that, man, I was like, wow, okay. Yeah, when he went through there, the table, I was like, man, that's a nasty bump. And like the way he took the bump, he kind of just like twisted his body and did almost like a swanton bomb or something like that, back first, man, and went through the table. It looked absolutely sick. Definitely had to be a hard bump and everything. From there, despite that sick bump, Jacob Fatu, he gets back in the ring and is able to get Drew McIntyre on the table, and he delivers the jumping moonsault from the middle rope through the table to the top rope through the table to score the 1, 2, 3, remaining undefeated at WrestleMania, now at 2-0, because I think he beat LA Knight, was it last year and everything? And there you go, Drew McIntyre. There you go, Jacob Fatu. I did think this is, like I said, one of the better built up stories in WWE on the way to WrestleMania. So I thought that was really cool. But overall, though, when you look at the full picture of what we got here, yeah, I gotta be honest. I thought they were going to be brawling all over the stadium and everything. I wasn't expecting it. You could have made an argument to make it as violent as the Hell in a Cell match that Drew McIntyre had with CM Punk, especially when they brought that toolbox. But yeah, I would say what we got in the main event was actually a lot more. It was a lot more brutal than that. Definitely, it was a lot more brutal than that. But hey, it is what it is on that front and things like that. Oh, what up, DJ Booga? Says I feel bad. I can't see it until tomorrow. Oh man, I guess this was is going to be spoilers for you, man. But thank you for coming into the chat, man. I appreciate it and stuff like that. My boy DJ Booga, always a really great supporter and everything. But yeah, man, this match was good though. For what it was, I thought it was good. It's not the most brutal, unsanctioned match you're gonna see, but overall, I still thought it made Jacob Fatu look good. You know, is what he say. Yada, I mean, he dog walked Drew McIntyre in the end there. So yeah, man. Yeah, props to these guys actually going ahead and putting that there. DJ Booga says, so today's show was good. I'm happy to hear. Yeah, it's kind of been polarizing. A lot of people, from what I can tell, the general consensus is that they feel the show wasn't great. It was just okay, solid, decent. I said that at the beginning of the stream and everything. And yeah, I would say good show. Not maybe great WrestleMania spectacular show, but good show nonetheless. And of course, we're only halfway through the show because tomorrow's night too. But our next match was here. Oh man, I got two like screens open up. I'm trying to make sure I get you get it right here. Okay, I'm back on the third match here. Okay, here we go. All right, next match was a fatal four-way tag team match for the Women's Tag Team Championship. Charlotte Flair and Alexa Bliss versus Bayley Lee and Lyra Valkyria versus the Irresistible Forces, Lash Legend and Nia Jax, and it was supposed to be versus Brie Bella and Nikki Bella, the Bella Twins. I will say this, I thought Charlotte Flair and Alexa Bliss came out in a really nice, cool butterfly type effect. Like Alexa Bliss was paying tribute to Bray Wyatt in this like dark butterfly type of outfit, and you had the colorful butterfly with Charlotte Flair, so that was cool. Shout out to Lash Legend and Nia Jax. They came out with a tribute to newly, finally long-awaited WWE Hall of Famers, Demolition, so that was really cool. However, the big part and the biggest thing anyone's going to be talking about when it comes to this match is that we got Nikki Bella coming out, and she confirmed she was not able to get cleared. So taking her place to team with her sister Brie Bella was none other. You all heard the rumors. They tried to be on commentary like, who could have saw this one coming? Well, I think we all saw it on the internet, but hey, I appreciate WWE still bringing the energy for it. We got the return of Paige, and you best believe I was like, yes, let's go. Woo, man, this was fantastic. Paige back in the WWE, but not just back, ladies and gentlemen, back in a wrestling capacity. Man, so fantastic. DJ Booga the chat says, thank you, brother, for the info. I have to head to bed. Have a great stream. Thank you. I appreciate you joining the stream. Hope you enjoy WrestleMania too. But as far as getting back to this, man, Paige, this was awesome. The audience went crazy. So did I, and I'm in my living room like, man. So the match overall, it was solid. But the biggest thing, like I said, that you can tell is that the fans wanted to see Paige. They popped huge when she came in, and she looked really good in the ring, moved around very well. Because remember, we haven't seen her last match for a good while now, since in AEW. Fans were going crazy when she and Charlotte went face to face. So we got a call back to like what, almost a decade ago. Of course, there was that controversial storyline they did where, you know, she unfortunately had to go along with the storyline of insulting her brother who had passed away. So definitely one of the darker times when it comes to the Paige and Charlotte feud and stuff like that. But you know, unfortunately, through the line, it totally wasn't needed for that story. Both women were able to put on good shows, and we got that here. So we got to see them go back and forth and everything. I don't know if the fans were chanting boo when Charlotte would hit Paige, or if they were chanting woo. But it is cool to see Charlotte still getting cheered after all this time, you know, compared to like last year when they were, you know, putting her back in the same spot against Tiffany, which, man, that sucks. Tiffany and Io Sky both walked out as women's world champions, and both of them are not on this show. So I mean, like, what's going on there, man? That sucks. let's see here. As far as from here, but in the end, when Alexa Bliss is getting ready to do the Twisted Bliss, Nikki Bella takes her revenge out on Charlotte Flair, who basically was the one who injured her, because Charlotte Flair, I forget what she does. She does some sort of move, but she ended up coming right down on Nikki Bella's ankle, and it just kind of like went the other way, and like, oh, it looked really nasty. And even after 2 weeks, she was not fully recovered for that. So she takes her revenge basically out on her by hitting her with the crutch, causing a distraction. And this distraction is long enough for Alexa Bliss to hit the Twisted Bliss, only for Paige to catch her catch her with her knees. She got her knees up, and boom, and Alexa Bliss went, like stomach first into the knees. And from there, Paige unleashes the Rampage for the 1, 2, 3, and we get the emotional moment of her and Brie Bella winning the women's tag team championships as she embraced both Bella twins. Man, these are the emotional moments as a professional wrestling fan that I just can say really truly makes us just proud to be a pro wrestling fan. Really is. You think about it, man. Paige was injured so much to the point that WWE's doctors, their medical staff would not clear her. It looked like, man, even though she was super young at the time, because I think she's only like 33 now, going on 34 later this year, man, because she had to retire real early. She's been wrestling, I think, since she was like 13, more or less that age. And man, you just think like, wow, Paige's career could be over, and she's never going to be able to wrestle again, and she's still in her youth. She's still in her physical peak prime. Man, especially when all the women, because she kind of paved the way for the women's revolution. It was Paige with having those awesome matches with Emma in NXT that really, you think, kind of really kick-started, I thought, the women's revolution. And when all those women were coming up to the main roster, man, Paige's career was cut short, and they tried to do the general manager thing with her for a while, and eventually, she ended up leaving WWE. And she did make a great comeback in AEW, where she got to win the women's AEW World Championship out in in the stadium out there in London. And then that was a great moment, especially when you know how much she's been through in her personal life and everything. To see her also come back in this moment in WWE, winning a title on her first night back, getting that huge reaction. It is just a wonderful moment to see. Just, man, it didn't look good, but she never gave up on her dreams. So proud of Paige and everything she's overcome from on a personal, in her person. I don't know her personally, but what she's overcome in her own personal life that she shared with the public as well as professionally. It is just a moment. It's a moment that I think we're always going to remember. It's going to be always a great WrestleMania moment. So I'm so happy for Paige, and it does suck that it came at the expense of Nikki Bella, because I actually did want to see the Bella twins win the women's tag team championships. I figured the Bellas were destined to win here. They were going to have them winning, but it is what it is there. Obviously, and then in the post show too, Nikki Bella revealed that when she got her surgery in Birmingham a couple of weeks ago, Paige was there, and that's when she decided Paige should take her spot. So that's probably how long this has been in the works and everything. So yeah, overall, man, this, like I said, the match was nothing. You're not nothing, but it was okay. It was pretty standard stuff. I don't think it went all out where it could have been with all these talented women in there, but it's more so this match is about the moment of seeing Paige come back and be able to get back in the ring in WWE, and at 33 years old to 34, I don't know if she's gonna be like on a part-time or full-time basis, but man, there's so many great women for us to see that she didn't get to wrestle during her time coming up, and all the new women. So yeah, I'm looking forward. We got AJ Lee, Paige. Maybe they'll run it back again with the Bella twins. Maybe AJ Lee and Paige will run it back again. The whole frenemy. So yeah, this was fantastic. This is probably, to me, I would say, I think I would say this was the highlight of WrestleMania 41 Saturday, night one, Paige's return. Like this right here is one of those defining moments you'll always look back and remember when it comes to this show. I've got, if I said your name, I'm sorry if I butchered it. He says the women should have more time. Their stories were better. Yeah. Timing was a big thing on the show. I seen a lot of people complaining about timing. This show was kind of moving by real fast like that. And yeah, the women definitely were having some good matches. The women's tag team championships, like, they took a lot of the women's main eventers, stuffed them into the women's tag team division. But yeah, I thought it was built up really good. So you do got a good point there. I actually will have more to say about that when we get to one of the later, the upcoming women's matches and stuff like that. All right, our next match was for the WWE Women's Intercontinental Championship. AJ Lee versus Becky Lynch. All right, so Becky Lynch, she comes out with a live performance of her theme song from by the Wonder Years, and I thought it was basically straight fire. I love the theme song and everything, so I'm really awesome with that. I know back when I first heard it in SummerSlam, I was like, I gotta get used to it, and boy, did I get used to it. Yeah. So yeah, Becky Lynch came out, then AJ Lee. She had a very touching entrance. She came out with all these little girls dressed up like her as they skipped to the ring with replica Intercontinental titles. It was a great moment, and Michael Cole does a great job too, mentioning how Paige and AJ Lee both had, I believe, their last WrestleMania matches at WrestleMania 31 when they teamed up against the Bella Twins, and now both have made their WrestleMania returns at WrestleMania 42. Hopefully I got that right. I heard that right, because I'm trying to think, did Paige wrestle beyond WrestleMania 31? I don't think she was at 32, or she was in a Battle Royal 33. I don't think I think that may have been Paige's last match. Really a full circle moment when you think about it. Both women, they exchange a lot of great back and forth wrestling action in the beginning. There are a lot of moments where Becky Lynch gets the upper hand on AJ Lee, like hitting her with the manhandle slam. AJ Lee kicks out. By the way, AJ Lee does a phenomenal job selling the manhandle slam. The way she jumps up and throws her body all over the place, and then she looks like she just splatters on the ground when she's out, man. Like, when she gets her arms out, her legs out, and she's like, oh, and puts her neck to the side like that. Like, does a great job selling it. I always love that. This is ultimately leads to frustration, because Becky Lynch gets in referee Jessica Carr's face and pushes her. And Jessica Carr, she is not taking any of that BS, so she pushes Becky Lynch back, and this gets a big reaction. I mean, at some point we've got to get Jessica Carr versus Becky Lynch, and I think the fans would definitely get behind Jessica Carr, and I think they could do a really good solid job of making it seem like Jessica Carr's like this referee that can't wrestle, and then she gets in there and she just basically completely throws Becky Lynch off, because obviously Jessica Carr actually is legitimately a pro wrestler. She's just been doing the what's it called? She's been doing the referee and everything. It's pronounced for God. I'm sure you used to mispronunciation with your name, LOL. Oh yeah, I absolutely, I had to tell people yeah, it's SonGoshuaku and everything. Oh, I see. Yes, for God, like, because I like the four Roman numeral for God. Got it. Nice, man. Appreciate it though. Thank you for the correction. Getting back to the match here. From here, Becky Lynch, she gets caught in the Black Widow, and this gets a big reaction too, because remember, it's the Black Widow that has made Becky Lynch been tapping out to AJ Lee for months here. And then from here, eventually, AJ Lee is able to get out of the Black Widow, because she ends up grabbing Becky grabs AJ Lee by the hair, causing her to break the submission, and referee Jessica Carr didn't see it. Now, in the closing parts of this match, Jessica is distracted, and Becky Lynch goes back to the corner to remove the turnbuckle pad that she loosened earlier in the match, because Jessica Carr stops telling her, like, you're absolutely unbelievable, like, or something along those lines she was saying. And from here, AJ Lee, she runs into Jessica Carr in front of her, trying to go for a splash, causing AJ Lee to splash Jessica Carr. And with Jessica out of the way, Becky Lynch then smashes AJ Lee's face into the exposed turnbuckle and hits the manhandle slam. Once again, AJ does a great job selling it and gets the 1-2-3 to become a 3-time women's WWE Intercontinental Champion. And that's the story. After months of clean tap out losses to AJ Lee, Becky Lynch basically had to resort to cheating to beat her, and that's where it goes. The match I thought was solid, okay. to go for it's for God's what he said earlier in the chat. Could have used more time. This was very short, given the grandiose of this story and how much it played out over months, and you know, just how much Becky Lynch could not stand AJ Lee. Yeah, this match was shorter. I think it may even been shorter than their match at Elimination Chamber. It had a screwy finish, and that's it for the storyline. But hey, now both women can move on, because at this point, I think, especially if AJ Lee is going to be here in limited doses, especially if you saw her interview on the post show, if she's in limited doses. I've always said this about part-timers, especially like Brock Lesnar and The Rock, where they would keep doing like these big rematches. It's like, well, hold on, if we're barely going to see them, we need to keep these matches fresh as possible, because hey, they're here on a limited basis. So, you know, with AJ Lee, yeah, I let's see her get in there with some new faces, because there's no shortage of new women for her to work with. But yeah, overall, yeah, I wish this would have got more time, just to fit the grandioseness of the story they were telling and everything. But overall, it was a solid, okay match, I would say. Could have used some more time, I thought. All right, our next match was Seth Rollins versus the Ring General, Gunther. And man, I have a great suspicion. I haven't seen Night 2 yet, but I have a very great suspicion that this is going to rank very high on when I do my ranking for these matches, either Monday or Tuesday, for all the WrestleMania matches. I'm going to say it right now. To me, the match of the night. The match that I think came the closest to that big WrestleMania. Like I said, I hadn't seen any bad matches, but if you want to talk about what match felt like big time WrestleMania energy, it was this match. Holy crap, man. Seth Rollins and Gunther. What would you expect? Gunther comes out, and Michael Cole on commentary mentions how he has been on a losing streak since like WrestleMania 40 to Sami Zayn for the Intercontinental title, and then of course WrestleMania 41 last year when he lost to Jey Uso for the world title, which the fans obviously have not forgotten, because they're still chanting, "You tapped out." So basically, I wasn't too familiar with the character Seth Rollins was cosplaying, but he had like these black contact lenses in, and smoke was coming out of his black jacket. It looked pretty cool versus what he usually wears on the over-the-top stuff. So I've been liking this more serious version and everything and stuff like that. For God says, hope AJ sticks around. I enjoyed her comeback. Absolutely. It sounds like she is sticking around, just on a part-time basis and everything. But yeah, it's definitely good to see her back. But before Seth Rollins can even finish his entrance here, while he's in the ring, Gunther comes out of nowhere with a missile drop kick, boom, and just like, man, the fight just starts going all over the ringside area. It takes a while before it finally gets in the ring and the bell starts. But yeah, Seth Rollins is in like a madman once he's like, just becomes this madman once he starts getting the upper hand on Gunther before the bell even rings. Once the action does start officially in the ring, both Seth Rollins and Gunther are going back and forth with lots of power bombs, buckle bombs, clotheslines, of course, chops. Seth Rollins comes back later in the match with some devastating knees into the stomp that Gunther kicks out of, and that's a great near fall. And the fans are chanting, "This is awesome." And Michael Cole, he calls it a match that went from 0 to 10 real quick. And that's the thing. This match was fast paced. They were not letting up. These guys went freaking at it. And at one point, Seth Rollins does a particular maneuver that Gunther is able to counter into the sleeper, and it gets the fans really on the edge of their seats, because we know how devastating the sleeper is. You know, that's basically how he ended up beating Goldberg, John Cena, and AJ Styles, retiring him and stuff like that. Gunther gets punched by Seth Rollins, but then clobbers him down with a devastating clothesline. Gunther goes to the top rope for a splash, but Seth Rollins runs up and hits a superplex into the Falcon Arrow for another great near fall. After that near fall, Seth Rollins puts Gunther into the sleeper, and the audience really really is getting into it even more at this point, and they are loud. But Gunther gets his foot on the rope before he could even fade. That was a crazy sequence, man. And when you think the sequences in this match was getting going, we get this one. Gunther is outside the ring. From here in the match, Seth Rollins delivers 3 consecutive suicide dives, but when he goes for the 4th one, Gunther catches him and turns it into a powerbomb on the corner of the ring, on the apron, the edge of the ring. Then he powerbombs him on the edge of the announce table. Then he goes on top of the table to try and do another powerbomb, but Seth Rollins counters this into a pedigree on top of the announce table, which does not budge. Then Seth Rollins runs from one announce table and jumps off it into a curb stomp onto the other announce table that Gunther is on, and the table still doesn't break. Yet another great crazy sequence in this match. Audience was going crazy. I was on the edge of my seat, man. And when you think the match, and I think that's what I loved about this match, it was just building and building and building and building, and you're like, man, where's it gonna go next? And then after this, out of nowhere, before you can even digest all of that, because it happened so quickly, Braun Breaker runs out and spears Seth Rollins, confirming the rumors that we indeed heard online that Braun Breaker has been cleared, but WWE wants to take their time building this story, so that's why they didn't do the match here. So yeah, Braun Breaker, he ends up throwing Seth Rollins into the ring. While Seth Rollins is distracted looking at Braun Breaker, who's going up the aisle, Gunther gets back into the ring, comes up from behind Seth Rollins, and puts him in a sleeper. It's here that you get a really good shot, too, of how red Seth Rollins' chest is, all the battle scars from this battle. But from here, Seth Rollins, as much as he tries to hold on, ends up fading, and the referee has no choice but to call the bell, and the winner by technical submission, the Ring General, Gunther. Woo! What a match, man. You put Gunther and Seth Rollins in it, and you just knew it was going to be good, and holy crap, man, what a match. And like I said, this match was building and building and building and building and building, and it had a really big, spectacular finish for the story, and then the post-match stuff. So even though Braun Breaker doesn't get a WrestleMania match, he gets an incredible moment, because this man full sprint down the entire WrestleMania aisle, delivering a second spear. Holy crap, man. The way that guy's like, like, whoa, man, it was sick. And they had this sick camera shot, drone shot, like above him, as it was literally following him. And you guys know those WrestleMania, because they're in stadiums, those WrestleMania aisleways, those ramps, them things are long. So man, the conditioning on Braun Breaker, that was awesome. So even like I said, even though it's not a match, you're gonna always remember this moment. And then he goes back on a top of the ramp, and the fans are even saying one more time. And then he gets back up on the ramp to embrace Paul Heyman. Up to this point, I thought, like I said, best match of the night. Man, what a match. Just phenomenal, man. Whew, yeah, this definitely was fantastic. A true highlight of WrestleMania 42 night 1. For God says, I thought John Cena should have got involved. Well, to John Cena's word, he said he's going to be a man of his word, and said that moving forward, his WWE appearances, he's going to be in a suit and everything, and things like that. So I can understand he probably wouldn't want to get physically involved just because he doesn't want to tease the fans that, hey, he's getting back, and hey, maybe they're going to build to a rematch. What I would have loved to have seen is a backstage segment. Like, even though John Cena was the host, we didn't really get a lot of interactions. I remember when The Rock was the host in 2011, we got a lot of cool backstage segments with The Rock. It's kind of like Cena just came out there twice, I think, and there you go. One thing I thought would have been cool is to see Gunther get in John Cena's face and, tease him about how, I made you tap out like a little beep, right? And you could have had him basically motivate Seth Rollins because of all their battles. Would have loved to seen some play off of that, but yeah, they didn't go that route and everything. Oh man, I missed it. I gotta remember to change the graphics here. Yeah, so that's when Braun Breaker right there was coming running down to that six spear. Like, man, look how much in the zone he was coming down from that aisle ramp. Dude wasn't even sweating. Dude wasn't even gas. That is the incredible conditioning that it takes for these WWE superstars, and why I will always one of many reasons why I will always have much respect for what these men and women put their bodies through to be that conditioned for the ring. Right quick, I thought the WWE Hall of Fame was pretty good. I thought Stephanie McMahon's daughter spoke really well. Linda spoke really well. Stephanie McMahon spoke really well, obviously. It was a great speech. I love the video package they did. Took up like the whole first hour and stuff. Would have loved to have seen the families of Bad News Brown and Sid Vicious speak. Also, too, it was great to see Demolition finally get their long-awaited Hall of Fame ceremony. And as well, enjoyed AJ Styles' speech, which was a lot shorter, but you know, my thing is with AJ Styles, he kind of gave us his big retirement speech when we saw that back on Monday Night Raw. So I thought that made sense. Another thing too, it was really cool to see Hulk Hogan and Andre the Giant get their rightful spot as the second ever inductee of the Hall of Fame, and get inducted in the Hall of Fame for matches and stuff like that. Would have been better had it been last year when Hogan, you know, was still alive, but I understood they didn't want to risk putting Hogan on there because he's getting booed out the building. And now you're seeing Hogan having passed away. A lot of fans are giving him more respect and everything for what he did in the business and things of that nature. It was cool. They brought all the Hall of Famers out there and everything, and they did something interesting that they haven't done before. Usually the headliner comes out first, which we did get AJ Styles come out, but then Stephanie McMahon came out and they sit AJ Styles, or they made AJ Styles and Stephanie McMahon stand next to each other. So yeah, I don't know if that's going to be a new thing moving forward for the Hall of Fame, but yeah, they had two basically headliners get the spotlight there. All right, we go to our next match, the WWE Women's Championship match for, oh, am I right here? Okay, now I've got my notes already. The next match was for the WWE Women's World Championship, Liv Morgan versus Stephanie Vaquer. All right, so one of the best matches that I thought has been built up extremely strong on WWE programming. And when this match looked like it was the first way they were going in WWE TV, I was like, I wasn't really sure about it, because I'm like, Stephanie Vaquer, you know, I like I said, I think she's fantastic in the ring, but I felt like WWE really wasn't going all out on her storylines in her matches, and I was like, I'm not sure what this is gonna be like with her and Liv, based on how they've booked all the other matches with Stephanie. Like, it's just gonna kind of be simple, where it's like, okay, Stephanie is basically saying that she's number one, and Liv Morgan's like, well, no, I'm going to be number one. And I'm like, that's going to be about it. But no, credit to both these ladies, because they really went in and making their characters work in this storyline to where they hated each other. And I really love the dynamic of the story that they were telling, with how you have the woman such as Liv Morgan, who basically had a quicker time in terms of getting her foot in the door at WWE. But then she had a long time at reaching the mountaintop in the main event and then becoming women's world champion. And then with Stephanie Vaquer, you have the woman who had a much quicker time getting her foot, or no, she had a much longer time at getting her foot in the door in WWE. But once she got that foot in the door, holy crap, man, did she have a much quicker time than Liv did at getting that world title and getting the main event spot. So the dynamic with both women were really good. And man, like the way they made it, and Liv Morgan, I love, she came out doing a live performance of her theme song, Trouble, with the exact backup dancers that she had in the video. Really funny too, seeing her and Corey Graves on the post show, by the way, do the dances together. But overall though, man, I thought the new theme song works for Liv Morgan and everything. Real talk, like I said, a lot of credit goes to both of these women for what they did to build up this match. So Stephanie Vaquer comes out, and the match starts off intense with Stephanie Vaquer taking down Liv Morgan and going right to the head she injured, because of course when she basically basically she knocked Liv Morgan so far, so hard, like in the back with her forearm. Liv Morgan's head just crammed right into what was it, Roxanne Perez's head, and it created this big hematoma on her head, and she got black eyes. Like, man, and Liv wasn't actually wearing a lot of makeup in this match, and I think it was just to show her, and I think it just made her look that more awesome, epic, B bad A capital double dollar signs, stuff like that. That being said, for the match, I do appreciate both women going in there and just, trying to rip each other's heads off right in the beginning, because this is the type of thing you would want in this type of feud and everything. Now, Stephanie Vaquer actually lands the Devil's Kiss quite early within this match without any reversals. And you hear the massive WrestleMania audience doing the Booger T, and Stephanie Vaquer was doing it for a long time, almost did, I think, maybe 10 of them. So it was just like, and all that stuff. So, it was cool to see the audience doing that. But I think that should have been a wake-up call for me early on at the length of this match, because usually if you look at any of Stephanie Vaquer's matches, they usually like to build towards that because it's such a great heat. Like, Stephanie steps up for the Devil's Kiss, and then whoever's about to be on the receiving end of it, they reverse it, and the fans go boo. And usually Stephanie Vaquer usually has to really work hard through her matches to finally be able to land that, and once it builds, you build and build, it makes the people go crazy even more. But I'm like, man, they're doing this right off the bat. I'm like, okay, that's a little unusual. So Stephanie Vaquer actually, after she does the Devil's Kiss, at one point the audience becomes unglued because Liv Morgan teases doing the Devil's Kiss to Stephanie, but to no avail, as Stephanie ends up countering and eventually leads her to doing the move where she picks up Liv and slams her on the back onto her knee. Interestingly enough, Stephanie Vaquer actually lands the Oblivion on Liv Morgan and picks up a near fall, to a huge reaction from the audience. So I did like that take there. Now at this part of the match, I actually feared that we were going to get the match cutting more shorter than what it actually was, because we already started getting interference with the match. And I'm like this at this point, I'm like, hold on. I'm like, let these women cook. Let these women cook, because I'm enjoying the back and forth action. I think Liv and Stephanie were cooking this match, and I'm like, why are we now getting interference? Like, let this match breathe. Like, it's like, why are we doing this? We got the Devil's Kiss quickly without building any drama or tension around it. Now we got Raquel and Roxanne already interfering, and that's what happens. Roxanne Perez distracts the referee, while Raquel Rodriguez knocks Stephanie Vaquer off of the top rope onto the ropes, leading to Liv Morgan hitting the Oblivion, but it ends with a near fall. The match becomes pretty much 3-on-1 since Roxanne and Raquel are outside, and from here Liv Morgan goes for a suicide dive, but Stephanie Vaquer gets out of the way, and Liv Morgan ends up taking out Raquel with the suicide dive, and Stephanie then jumps over the top rope and splashes onto Raquel and Roxanne, taking them out. From here, Stephanie Vaquer is thrown into the steel steps, then thrown into the ring, and it's from there that Liv Morgan jumps off the top rope for a code breaker, and then connects with the Oblivion to score the 1, 2, 3, and become what I believe is a 3-time, correct me if I'm wrong, but becoming a 3-time WWE Women's World Champion. Oh, wow. Honestly, like I said, I thought this match was too short. And I was really enjoying this match and thought it had, like I said, I thought it had a great build-up. I wish they would have given these ladies more time to cook. I really do. What we got was good, but I wish it was longer given the story involved. That's my only complaint about this match. They were going at it. This match, like I said, if they would have just given it 10 more minutes, I think we could have had maybe a classic or close to a classic on our hand. But yeah, it just, a lot of this match kind of felt rushed. The women were cooking in the ring, and like I said, it could have used more time. That's my only thing. But putting the time aside, I'm glad to see Liv Morgan get her big moment. This show is going in by this point. I'm thinking like, man, this show is going by pretty fast at this point, as they are already announcing the main event is next. And man, like in Central Time here, it was like almost like it was almost like eight, almost I think it was like 7:57 p.m. or something like that, like or 8. I forget the time, but yeah, it was pretty early. Yeah, it looked like the show was gonna end at 9 o'clock. So I'm like, man, okay, Triple H is wasting no time. He's like, get in, get out, you know. So it is what it is there on that match. But yeah, I like to see these women run it back, you know, at least just in a longer match, because these women were cooking. They were cooking all through the build-up. They were cooking in this match. Let it breathe a little bit. You know, you could have been a little bit longer. That's all I'm saying about this match. But I did enjoy it though. All right, but before we get to the main event, John Cena, as the WrestleMania host, comes out in the ring announcing the live attendance. It announces that the live attendance is 50,816 fans in attendance, which is about 10,000 less than what they had last year, because it's a stadium that could fit about 60,000 people. Of course, they overcharged on those tickets and everything, so obviously we knew that it wasn't going to be full sellout. Shout out to my boy, the man 0001, who was live in attendance. He said he saw some empty seats and stuff, but he couldn't confirm if it was just more people piling in, as at the time more fans were coming in. So yeah, it is what it is there and everything like that. But overall, I had the biggest reaction moment where I was going crazy. I was like, yes, woo! Bianca Belair, man, big fan. You know, one of my favorite performers in WWE in recent years, man. Bianca Belair coming out. The fans gave her a huge ovation. Fans were calling her EST, so it was good to see Bianca Belair back. And she has this emotional reveal that she is pregnant by exposing her stomach. And man, I was super glad for Bianca Belair, even more for her and Montez Ford to have a baby, having a baby. And John Cena, he thanks her for sharing the news with everyone in attendance. Yeah, obviously it's been a hard year for Bianca Belair. That finger injury 1 year later has kept her out. And if anyone's heard some of her interviews, out of character interviews, one of the things she was saying is it was always tough for wanting to know when she wanted to be a mother or not, because on one hand, the thing is like she's in the top peak of her career and stuff like that, and so you don't want to give that up and you don't want to lose your spot. But then at the same time, she also wanted to make sure that she can have a baby while she was still young enough and everything. And being out for a year, you might as well, I'm thinking from their standpoint, you might as well, she's had this injury, was going to keep her out for a year, so might as well, why not, and everything and stuff like that. So, it looks like her finger is still recovering. She got the surgery that she needed. And, yeah, like I said, I'm happy for Bianca and Montez Ford and everything. I'm glad they're finally able to have their baby, and Bianca, I know, will come back even stronger. But, this does pretty much confirm that we are probably not getting Bianca Belair back until 2027, probably, most likely. Yeah, she probably won't come back until 2027. And things of that nature and things like that. And this is one of those things where I'm like, oh, from a prediction standpoint, like I'm in the no DQ prediction lead. I chose Jade Cargill because I'm like, I think they're keeping that title on Jade Cargill until Bianca Belair can come back and they can tell that story. But obviously, like I said, we're probably not seeing Bianca Belair until next year sometime. So, or even knows, it might be a little bit longer than that. Like, correct me if I'm wrong. Didn't Alexa Bliss, I think, Alexa Bliss almost came back 2 years after she gave birth to her child. So, yeah, who knows, man? Who knows? That being said, congratulations, Bianca Belair, Montez Ford. I'm glad they were finally able to get to their journey of having a child and becoming parents. But yeah, as far as the storyline goes, I'm guessing Rhea Ripley is definitely winning that championship tomorrow night. And hey, if that's how I'm losing my prediction, it's fine, because more importantly, Bianca and Montez Ford are parents, and I'm happy for them and everything. And as a big Bianca Belair fan, I look forward to the the time coming when she can get back in the ring. But obviously there are far more important things that they are going to be dealing with, thankfully, and that's getting that finger right and bringing that wonderful new life into this world. Congratulations again to Bianca Belair and Montez Ford. All right, and now we get to the main event of the evening, the undisputed WWE Championship match. Cody Rhodes versus Randy Orton with Pat McAfee. Oh boy, has the reaction to this storyline been something. It's been polarizing, and I get it on both sides. Listen, I actually have not been too bothered, and I haven't really been bothered at all by Pat McAfee. I think Pat McAfee has a lot of great charisma. He's always entertaining on the mic. So yeah, I have been entertained by him, but I get it. I understand why fans wanted to see this be about the long 20-year history between Randy Orton and Cody Rhodes. Man, I was a teenager in high school when they first formed Legacy and stuff. So man, there's a lot of people like me who have grown up watching these guys. So yeah, and honestly, I think Pat McAfee, the way they put the storyline together, I actually thought it would have been a nice evolution. Like if they were going to continue this storyline past WrestleMania, then use the initial build-up to focus on the lore and the history, so that fans like myself who grew up, because you got to think about it, there's a lot of kids who grew up watching Randy Orton, Cody Rhodes. There's teenagers at the time who grew up watching it, like myself at the time. There's a lot of people who grew up watching this stuff, and so we want to see that history unfold and see the story be about that. And then you could insert Pat McAfee and then have the next step be where, okay, this is now that we got all the legacy stuff out the way, now let's focus on something new that keeps the story going and building up to be something new and fresh. But that's not the route they go because of all the stuff that's been said. TKO wanted to get those prices up, and he's trying to I think Ari Emanuel of TKO is trying to get Pat McAfee to be like the next Sylvester Stallone and things of that nature. I'll say this, man, I thought the video package they put together almost did a better job of the build-up than the actual build-up itself. We got that history where they were showing the history of Legacy and Randy Orton and Cody Rhodes, and then it nicely inserted Pat McAfee and everything into it. So yeah, that was interesting. And then what we get is probably, man, the absolute longest time they have ever taken in WWE history to get the bell started. Maybe, I don't know if I'm exaggerating or if there may have been other ones, but man, boy, did it take a long time to get to the bell ringing. So Pat McAfee, he comes out first. Michael Cole is not pleased, as Wade Barrett says, I thought you guys were boys. And Michael Cole, he's just disgusted at Pat's actions recently. And Randy Orton, he comes down to the ring with a slow walk. And I mean slow. This was as methodical of a walk you will ever see with Randy Orton. His song must have played the chorus 4 or 8 times. The chorus, I hear voices, in my head, was like, I hear heroes dying. I hear something crying. Like, I forget the lyrics a little bit right now off the top of my head. But yeah, the chorus where the fans are singing it, yeah, that had to play on loop so many times. Randy Orton took his sweet time slowing down, and I'm getting to the point where it's like, man, you know what? If they would have picked up the pace on these entrances, maybe we could fit. Maybe we could have fit Julia and against Tiffany Stratton on this card. Maybe we could have hopefully fit Io Sky versus Asuka on the card tomorrow night. So it's like, wow, yeah, they took a long. This was a long Randy Orton entrance. This is, of course, Randy Orton's 3rd WrestleMania main event. And I'm glad that this was mentioned by Michael Cole because, of course, he had main evented 3 different decades in the 2000s against Triple H at WrestleMania 25, in the 2010s at WrestleMania 30 against Batista and Daniel Bryan, and of course now in the 2020s against Cody Rhodes at WrestleMania 42. And it's also a funny moment where Pat gets on the other side of the ring and he does the Randy Orton pose, the classic Randy Orton pose and stuff like that. And I think Randy Orton does the pose now like this and everything. So I thought that was pretty funny. Michael Cole was ragging him him for that on commentary. So Cody Rhodes, he has a really cool superhero theme entrance showcasing all the different personas over the years. Like when he first came in, it's like the rookie wearing the green trunks. I think when he was like teaming up with Hardcore Holly and also being managed by his father, Dusty Rhodes, the late great American Dream, Dusty Rhodes. And then they showed him when he was basically the dashing Cody Rhodes and was wearing the mask, and then you got to see him as Stardust, and then his comeback to WWE from 4 years ago and stuff. So yeah, and then he comes out in this golden mask and golden robe, and he even has his daughter Liberty and his wife Brandy at ringside, and he hugs and kisses them and everything. So that was a great moment to see. And they did a good job, because even with like CM Punk and Cody Rhodes, they really did a good job, I thought, making it look like, oh, this is it. Cody Rhodes, this is his last moments as WWE champion, right? So I did like the suspense they were building up here. So after, once again, like I said, a very long wait to finally get to the match started, we finally get to the introductions, and Pat McAfee pretty much steals the microphone from Alicia Taylor and takes a page out of Paul Heyman's book and does this big dramatic over-the-top introduction for Randy Orton. Then Alicia Taylor does Cody Rhodes' announcement, and before the bell even rings, Pat McAfee attacks Cody Rhodes with the microphone, and Randy Orton and Pat both jump Cody Rhodes. But Cody is able to get the upper hand and give Pat McAfee the crossroads and puts him on the announce table. Then Jelly Roll comes out of nowhere and delivers a flying elbow from one announce table to the other announce table to Pat McAfee, breaking through the table. This creates what I believe at the time is a plot device, because Pat McAfee is on a gurney and carried out, and he's making and it's making us believe that he's not going to get involved. But if anybody's been watching wrestling, I've been watching wrestling, WWE, particularly pro wrestling, since 1994. So anyone who's watched it for any significant time, you know this song and dance and where this was going in the story. And I did think it was funny. Pat McAfee, he gives a thumbs up to the audience and they boo him, and so he turns the thumbs up into a middle finger. So he's like, ow, but that's still up and everything. So I did think that was funny. And so from there, the bell finally rings. All right, so the match starts off with an intense tie-up. Collar and elbow tie-up to a feud that has gotten very heated. Yeah, that's always a weird start to me. I always think when it's blood feud, like, I kill you, I want to kill you. It's like, well, I want to kill you just as much more. Ring the bell. All right, boom. Collar and elbow tie-up. Let's do a little headlock. Let's do some chain wrestling. Like, okay, you just want to wrestle the guy and not beat the crap out of him. It's always weird, I think, when they do that type of stuff for those blood feuds and stuff like that. But both men, they go back and forth, and Cody Rhodes, he gets a backdrop on Randy Orton, and Randy Orton starts selling the back very heavily, because of course that plays into the whole thing that's been going around on online about reports of Orton's surgically repaired back has started giving him issues like a couple of days before WrestleMania. So they really play up on that and things of that nature. So from here, like a shark that smells blood in the water, Cody Rhodes starts working Randy Orton's back. So it's interesting in this part of the match, because Randy Orton's back is getting worked on a lot by Cody Rhodes. Usually it's the heel that does this to the babyface, but yeah, it's the babyface Cody Rhodes that is really just taking advantage of the very hurt / injured side of Randy Orton. So that made for quite the diff, and it's one of the things I kind of did enjoy the match, because there was a lot of suspense into what they were going for. It almost looked a lot like, oh, they are thinking of turning Cody Rhodes heel and stuff like that. So I did enjoy the suspense of that match. So it did make for an interesting dynamic in this match. Now, after a long period of getting no offense, when Cody Rhodes goes to the top rope, Randy Orton chops him at the shin, causing Cody to lose balance. Randy Orton then delivers the top rope superplex, and he really starts selling the back on that. Now, clearly, I'm not going to tell Randy Orton how his back feels, because that man for the last 25 years or so has been slamming his back against the canvas. But the fact that he is able to get in the ring and do this type of match and stuff and do that does obviously mean that WWE has cleared him to a point where they don't feel like it was where he's cleared enough to do the match. Now, how badly is he hurting? I guess we'll find out in the coming. We'll find out shortly enough. Is Randy Orton going to take some time off? Was he powering through just like Shawn Michaels powered through against Stone Cold Steve Austin at this at this WrestleMania 14? Is Randy Orton powering through? Who knows? But once again, like I said, it just goes back to what I say. Much respect to these men and women. I don't know if Randy Orton's back is hurt that bad or if he's just selling it, but no, regardless of which, that stuff hurts when you do the superplex. So much respect to Randy Orton powering through with what his back has been through all these years. Randy Orton is eventually then able to get the draping DDT from the middle rope, but continues to sell his back greatly. There's one point where Randy Orton tries to do the twisting turnbuckle setup for the RKO, where he turns around, but then he's like, he thinks less of it, so then he just gets on his knees and just starts doing the forearms slam into the canvas. So from there, that's when he thinks twice about it, and he's taking his time because he doesn't want to hurt his surgically repaired back. And Randy Orton, he drops Cody Rhodes back first. He tried to go for the RKO, but it doesn't end up doing anything. And from there, Randy Orton drops. I'm just trying to find where I am on my notes. Sorry about that. Okay, here we are. Randy Orton drops Cody Rhodes. They get to the outside of the ring, and Randy Orton, he drops Cody Rhodes back first on the announce table, and it doesn't budge. But Cody comes back and pushes Randy Orton into the turnbuckle, posts face first. And when the action gets back in the ring, we see that Randy Orton has been busted open from the forehead. So blood is coming down Randy Orton's forehead. So that's why I was talking about. Like, we got more blood in this match than we did the Jacob Fatu and Drew McIntyre match earlier in the night, and I'm thinking like that's the real big blood feud. So it makes sense to have blood in both matches and everything. The crowd reaction gets very interesting as boos start to become louder for Cody Rhodes. Cody Rhodes then starts stomping on all of Randy Orton's limbs like Randy Orton does, and the boos get even louder. So he's taking pages out of Randy Orton's book here at this point. And a lot of this match really just feels like Cody is working heel and Randy is working as the sympathetic babyface. Cody, he wipes the blood. There's one part where Cody wipes the blood like a badge over his chest, like a badge of honor. And Cody Rhodes even delivers Randy Orton's own draping DDT from the middle rope. Cody Rhodes starts doing the RKO setup, and I'm like, all right, this historically has not worked good for people. We all remember WrestleMania 28, that when John Cena couldn't beat The Rock, couldn't put The Rock away with anything, so he starts doing the people's elbow, and it cost him. And so from there, sure enough, Cody Rhodes, after he starts doing the RKO setup, sure enough, Cody, as he goes for the RKO, ends up getting caught into Randy Orton's own move, and catches him. He gets caught into his own move because Randy catches him with the crossroads. And basically from there, Cody gets caught into Randy Orton's counter crossroads, but Cody kicks out at 2. Cody does get a backslide pin on Randy Orton, but Randy kicks out, and just as they get to their feet, Cody Rhodes out of nowhere lands the RKO on Randy Orton, but Randy kicks out at 2 at a very close near fall. So audience is getting really into it, and I had to feel like at this point in the match, I'm like, this is definitely much better at this point of the match, because the fans are really starting to, like I said, they're getting into the match. This match is definitely starting to feel a lot more better than the John Cena match we got last year at WrestleMania between Cody and Cena. And of course, Cody and Cena redeemed themselves at SummerSlam for a much better match. Speaking of the match with John Cena, I was saying by this point in the match, Cody should have been, this is the type of vicious side he should have been showing in that match against John Cena last year. So we were definitely getting that vicious side of Cody Rhodes. But both men, they start exchanging blows. Fans are booing Cody and fans are cheering Randy. So, it's like Cody, boo, Randy, yeah, Cody, boo, Randy, yeah. So, like I said, all just getting really into it. And and this was an interesting part in the match. Cody Rhodes, he hits a thumb to Randy Orton's eye, blinding Orton, and Orton ends up accidentally clotheslining referee. No, he ends up doing the RKO to referee Charles Robinson, and that's where you know there's going to be shenanigans in this match. So what's interesting in the commentary is Michael Cole at this point is doing a lot of talking about how essentially when it comes to this is that you can't blame Cody Rhodes after everything Randy Orton has done to him. So rather than being like, I can't believe Cody is giving up his morals, he's like, no, that's what you got to do, because Randy Orton, you can't blame him. Look what Randy Orton's done to him and stuff. So yeah, that was good. Let me take a quick water break here. All right, so and then as we get from there to that part of the match with the referee down, it's from here that Pat McAfee comes running down dressed as a referee with a neck brace to do the pinfall count. Cody Rhodes kicks out at 2 though. I did think it was funny that the fans start chanting, "Ref, you suck! Ref, you suck!" at Pat McAfee. Then in the closing parts of this match, Randy Orton, out of frustration, RKO's Pat McAfee because, of course, you can't trust a snake. Have we not learned from Jake the Snake Roberts, the Viper? He is the Viper after all. And then from there, Cody Rhodes runs up behind him and delivers the crossroads, and referee Charles Robinson comes to and counts the 1, 2, 3. Thus, Cody Rhodes has retained the undisputed WWE Championship. Wow. Okay, so by this point, Cody Rhodes is busted open, and it looks like, and they even showed on the pro show that he had a swollen eye and everything. But yeah, he's busted open at this point, has a swollen eye, and as he is celebrating with the championship, Randy Orton grabs the title out of nowhere, or I think he got the swollen eye after this, but yeah, Randy Orton grabs the title out of Cody's hands and lays him out by hitting him with the title belt face first, and like I said, that might have been where he got the swollen eye. Randy Orton by this point puts the championship belt back, goes back to the, he puts the belt down and goes back to the corner and delivers the punt kick to Cody Rhodes, a move we haven't seen in a few years, since like 2020 to 2021, when he started channeling that old 2009 Randy Orton energy, and he did it so here, and Cody Rhodes sold this thing like death, pretty much. From here, WrestleMania 42 Night 1 ends with a bloody Randy Orton standing over a broken, bloodied Cody Rhodes with the WWE Championship, as Michael Cole says, "Well, so much for being your brother," while surprisingly quite a few other fans in the audience are booing Randy Orton now after cheering him. And that's a wrap on WrestleMania 42 Night 1. It's in the books. Man, you know, as I get to the finish of this match, I was like almost wondering for a moment, like, I'm not sure with that ending if it almost felt like Pat McAfee didn't ultimately end up being needed that much. I mean, I guess they were trying to help him, but I'm not sure even how much it really moved WrestleMania business. Yeah. Wow. So, you know, it's like I was saying, and this goes for the main event for tomorrow, that's going to happen later on for WrestleMania Night 2. A lot of fans and some family members, they were asking me, who do you think is going to win? And I was like, it really doesn't matter. And it should matter. But it doesn't matter. I'm like, Cody Rhodes, if he wins, we know exactly what we're going to get with him as undisputed WWE champion, and it doesn't hurt Randy Orton to lose because he's a bona fide Hall of Famer. Whether he gets 15th championship reign or not, it does not define Randy Orton's legacy. Randy Orton is a set man. His legacy is established. Vice versa, if Randy Orton wins, awesome moment for him. He gets that 15th world title and gets closer to Triple H and John Cena's reigns. Or I think he's tied with Triple H, so he gets tied to Ric Flair and John Cena's reigns. And there you go right there. And I always figured, like, okay, if Cody Rhodes loses, then he's probably going to get the title back anyways. And I'm like, it doesn't hurt Cody Rhodes because this is not from WrestleMania when they first fought with Ted DiBiase, who's also in attendance, Ted DiBiase Jr., when when Ted DiBiase Jr. And Cody Rhodes had that triple threat match with Randy Orton. That was a time where Cody Rhodes back in 2010 at WrestleMania 26, I believe. That's a time where, yeah, Cody Rhodes should have been going over because he's supposed to be the new established talent. Well, all these years later here in 2026 at WrestleMania 42, Cody is established talent, so it doesn't hurt him. So it's like, it doesn't matter who wins either way. And yeah, ultimately there we are. Just like I said, Randy Orton is still a Hall of Famer. This does not like make or break. Him winning the 15th world title wasn't going to make or break his career. So there you go. I thought Randy Orton was probably going to win. I thought they had bigger plans. Who knows? Will we see more Randy Orton? Does this feud continue? Will we see Pat McAfee ever again? You know, he came in, did R. Emanuel and TKO a big favor. But will we see him after this? Because it looked like he was going to be departing from WWE. So yeah, and I guess that's the weird thing about this finish is, like, you know, I think most more than anything, WWE fans, we all just want to feel like things matter. And if they don't matter, like, is this just something where they just brought Pat McAfee in for a quick shoehorn of a way of trying to sell the remaining WrestleMania tickets? And now that it's done, he's gone, and there you go. Now Cody moves on to the next challenger, or what else is going to go down? So it's like, who knows? And at this thing, I've heard some fans say that this finish felt a little flat, and yeah, I could see that, because it's like I wasn't even sure what to make of this and everything. Cody Rhodes' title reign continues, so you know, I'm happy for that, because I like Cody Rhodes, and this idea of him turning heel, I'm like, I'm fine with Cody Rhodes. I understand a lot of fans feel he's gotten stale, but I still enjoy Cody Rhodes and stuff, and everything. You know, I was a big fan of him going back to like when he broke out of Legacy and stuff, and when he became like, you know, started becoming like his own wrestler as a singles wrestler. I wanted to see him get pushed in the main event back then. So now that he is finally getting this main event push, and he's been able to main event WrestleMania 3 times in a row with some of the biggest stars in WWE history, I'm glad. So I'm enjoying the ride. Yeah, the ending, I guess it was okay, but ultimately, what does it mean long term? And that's the thing about this match. What was the effects of this match going to mean long term for the future of the company and building up new stars, and because, you know, you got two guys who are established and stuff like that. So yeah, it was a finish, and they got to it, and it is what it is. If you disliked it, I understand. If you like it, I guess I understand as well. You know, it was nice seeing, Pat get what he deserved in the storyline by Cody Rhodes from that standpoint. I mean, by Randy Orton from that standpoint. But yeah, it just if it's not a finish to me that makes you go like, oh snap, I can't wait to see what's going to go on, man, what's gonna happen next? Like, oh my gosh, like, you kind of, it's a finish that kind of leaves me more like, okay, they did it. And, you know, I'm like, I don't know what to make of it. Like, is this gonna, you know, what's the future here? So it's gonna be interesting to see where things go next here. Yeah, it was a finish. That's what I gotta say. It was a finish, and it certainly is probably this is not going to end up being my top match of the night. Honestly, and everything. So I'll say that much. But overall, I did actually enjoy the match, though. I really did. I enjoyed the match. I did like the thrill ride of, oh man, are they actually teasing Cody's gonna go heel here? Only for it. No, he got the babyface treatment and everything and stuff like that. But yeah, it was an interesting dynamic to do that, where Randy Orton, you know, he didn't get much sympathy through this and everything. So yeah, we'll see where this goes, and stuff like that. And so as we conclude here, overall, WrestleMania 42, night 1, Saturday. Like I said, I didn't think this was the greatest show, but I don't think it was bad. It was solid. It was a solid, okay show. There was nothing on this show that had me going like, the finish was kind of like, huh? But for the Cody Rhodes and Randy Orton match and everything, in terms of how they played out with Pat McAfee, but there was nothing that made me go like, oh my gosh, this was horrible. This was awful. Like, this was just a waste. And I like, no, it was a good show. It was a good show. I thought it was a solid show, yeah, I enjoyed it. It was a good, like almost a 4-hour show and everything. So I felt like it was a good watch overall. So we're only halfway through WrestleMania, of course. We'll see where WrestleMania night 42 night 2 ends up taking us, because that's where they're going to go big. That to me tomorrow, later on, because it is April 19th now, this is going to be something where it's like, man, WWE has a really great opportunity for night 2 for some breakout young talents with Javon Evans, Trick Williams, and Oba Femi. I'm most looking forward to Brock Lesnar versus Oba Femi, hoping WWE does the right thing. We got CM Punk and Roman Reigns in the main event, which I think is going to be a better main event. So yeah, night 2 certainly I think really is going to knock it out of the park in order for this to go from solid okay WrestleMania to potentially a great WrestleMania. But it's going to be, even if night 2 is tremendously great, it's probably going to be one of those things where people are going to be like, yeah, if night 1 only was just as good, this would be one of the greatest WrestleManias of all time and stuff like that. So yeah, but overall, like I said, I don't think it was a bad WrestleMania. I just don't think it was a great WrestleMania either. It was a solid, decent, okay, good WrestleMania. My review of WWE WrestleMania 42 Sunday, aka Night 2. And man, I have got to be honest, if you're thinking that Night 1 was better, I totally respect your opinion. But when it comes to me, heck no! Night 2 to me absolutely destroyed Night 1. And we're going to go ahead and talk about it for WrestleMania Sunday. So things kicked off with John Cena coming out, and he calls Night 1 an incredible night. Yeah, if you all saw the feedback, a lot of fans did not think it. In fact, I'm probably one of the few fans that actually thought Night 1 was pretty decent. I thought it was decent, solid, okay. But we're going to talk about the greatness of WrestleMania 42, which is what Night 2 was indeed. By the way, with John Cena and all, he's doing his thing. He's the company guy and everything, an ambassador. So, of course, he's one of the hype Night 1. But yeah, I don't think a lot of the fans felt it was incredible. However, the word incredible, I definitely think fits WrestleMania Sunday for WrestleMania 42. All right, that being said, we kick things off with the very first match, Oba Femi versus Brock Lesnar. Coming into this, man, honestly, this whole match was probably the best, and I mean the absolute best match that was built up for WrestleMania 42. They put Oba Femi over as dominant as possible, and Brock Lesnar, you saw hearing things where when Oba was stepping on his chest, he's like, step on me, really sell it, really make Oba look like the big deal. So there was a big fight feel and everything going on here for the whole fight. There was such a big fight field coming out during Oba as he's strutting, and man, you just see all the entire audience basically strutting and everything. And then Brock Lesnar comes out, as always, one of the most hyped entrants. When he comes out and he's like, and the fireworks go off. And one of the things that I thought was really cool about this match when it came down to it is that they do the teletape, and the way they got Oba Femi showing, they're showing Oba Femi doing the strut. He's like doing it like it perfectly matches up with Brock Lesnar's theme song. And all that stuff. But yeah, this match right here, though, it starts off with a collar and elbow tie-up, something we haven't seen a lot in Brock Lesnar's match in a long time. And man, this is old school pro wrestling right here. You go back to 1980s when you had the big muscle powerhouses basically starting off who's gonna win with a test of strength and everything. I do love that match with Ultimate Warrior and Hulk Hogan back then. There was a lot of that going on in that match. So eventually Brock Lesnar, he picks him up, and and puts Oba Femi in the corner, just snatches up Oba Femi and just puts him there and just starts doing those shoulder thrusts back and forth and everything, which has been a staple of Brock Lesnar's entire WWE career, going back to the Ruthless Aggression era when he first debuted in 2002. And from there, when he puts him in the corner and he's done, he gets up and Oba, he just tanks it. He shrugs that stuff off. He no sells and he goes like, oh, and I'm like, whoa. And Brock's like, oh, because nobody has ever tanked Brock Lesnar's offense like that. And so basically from there, he's just no selling it, looking like a beast to, hey, the guy who's been shown to be the beast of WWE. So from here, Brock Lesnar, he tries clotheslining Oba Femi about 2 or 3 times with no effect at all. No effect. Once again, Oba just tanking it like, what you got? And basically from there, he ends up clotheslining Brock Lesnar down with, and it's a massive clothesline. Brock Lesnar, I've always put him over as one of the absolute best sellers in WWE. And I'm just looking at this, man, and Brock Lesnar's getting frustrated over here. And so by this point in the match, it is actually going on longer by this point, I think, usually than what you get for some of these Brock Lesnar matches. Because I was just so afraid going into this match, Brock's just gonna come in, do a few German suplexes, F5, make Brock Lesnar look strong, and then that's it. And thus they've killed the chance of having Oba Femi have a big WrestleMania defining moment. But that wasn't the case here. So right here, Brock, he's getting frustrated, and he takes Oba Femi out in the match, and he's throwing him into the steel steps and everything and stuff like that, and then into the post and all that stuff. He's throwing them into like the post and all that stuff. And from there, the ring post, and this is where it looks like, okay, Brock's about to get his heat back. He throws Oba in the ring, and he starts going back and doing German suplexes. So he's taking him to Suplex City a few times and everything. And this is where you're like, okay, this is nearing the end here, and it's not going to end well for Oba Femi. You're just hoping, right? If you want to see, him become a big star and everything. So it's from there that Brock Lesnar, he does, so after the German suplexes, Brock Lesnar goes ahead and gets Oba Femi up, and he does the F5, and I'm thinking here, okay, he's gonna kick out, this is a massive moment, kick out. But honestly, they do something that I would say is more shocking than kicking out. As Brock Lesnar's kind of turning, Oba Femi just gets right on up, and Brock Lesnar turns around, and Oba once again has tanked the F5. This man has tanked all of Brock Lesnar's whole entire offense. And so from right there, Oba Femi actually goes ahead and takes his neck, puts the vice grip on Brock Lesnar's neck, and he choke slams Brock Lesnar. And then from there, he delivers the fall from grace sit down power bomb to Brock Lesnar and gets the 1, 2, 3, and the entire audience comes unglued. I got out of my face like, whoa! Yes, let's go. I was like, this is the way we do it. Let's go. I don't really curse all that much, like even when I'm getting riled up like that and everything at all and stuff, unless I'm in character. But I was like, texting all my friends like, let's F-N go. Man, this was awesome. This is a star-making, superstar defining moment for Oba Femi. This is how you do it. Oba Femi looked like an absolute beast. Match didn't go that long. I think it went less than 5 minutes, so about the same length as the Brock Lesnar and Goldberg match that I attended back at WrestleMania 33. But overall, man, Oba looked fantastic. They made him look about as dominant and as strong as you could possibly make someone do, and that's exactly what they did. So this was fantastic. Really love seeing it. Man, this is how you do it, because when you really think about it, Brock Lesnar, I think, is about the same age that Hulk Hogan was, and this is what they did back then, 2002. I was a preteen at the time, and Hogan was that established longtime veteran, and Brock Lesnar, he put Brock Lesnar over big time. Had literally, I think they call it, squeezing the life out of Hulkamania. That's what they called it, because he had Hogan bleeding and coughing up blood, and that was the end of Hogan until about 2003. And man, that put Brock Lesnar over as a big deal. And you look how much mileage they got out of that, having not had Hogan put over Brock Lesnar. Who knows what his career could have looked like if they were going to push him that stronger. But man, it made to the audience to realize that Brock is a force to be reckoned with. And look at it, they got almost 25 years of mileage out of Brock Lesnar. Lesnar, you know, all the way here to 2026. So now Brock's that age, and you have him go up against Oba Femi and put the young guy over. You know, it was Brock now in that Hulk Hogan position, and Oba now in the young Brock Lesnar position on the rise up. So it was a great passing of the torch moment and everything. Would have loved if the match was a little bit longer, but for what it did all the right things. Like I told my friends this when I was chatting with them in a group chat, and I was saying that everything about this was fantastic, from the build up to the match itself, in terms of making every move matter. Everything they did in this mattered. Even if it was short, it still all mattered. Right to the finish, and you had Oba Femi win clean as a whistle. And I was saying that this is going to be the trajectory. This is the trajectory of what this is going to be in terms of Brock Lesnar and Oba Femi. How this match goes is going to really put people in a sour mood for the rest of the night, or it's going to get them off going. And man, yeah, this match delivered. I actually thought this was better than almost anything, pretty much anything we got maybe on WrestleMania night one. Granted, that Gunther and Seth Rollins match was really awesome, but I was like, man, this was top tier. I'm pretty sure I'm going to rank this highly when I rank the matches either later on today, since it's now Monday, or tomorrow on Tuesday. Yeah, this is great. And then the big other talking point of this match is you get Brock Lesnar at the end. He gets emotional and he takes off his gloves, he takes off his boots, which usually is the signal that the wrestler doing that is going to retire. And wow, you know, it was really hard to process this because it came out of nowhere, and I wasn't sure, because you're looking at Minneapolis, Minnesota is where they're having going to be having the what match is that? They're going to be having SummerSlam there. And a lot of people were thinking, oh, maybe they're going to have Gunther retire Brock Lesnar, because Gunther already said to Paul Heyman, you owe me a favor. And yeah, so I wasn't really sure whether to buy it. I thought maybe Gunther was going to come on out and choke him, you know, put him to sleep with the sleeper, and we may not see Brock again until SummerSlam. Of course, Brock Lesnar, they always like to build him from Minneapolis, Minnesota, because that's where I think he played college football. He played college I think he played football there as well, but he also wrestled in college there, NCAA, I think, and stuff like that. So yeah, I guess we'll wait and see what this all means. But for him to do this, maybe this is his way of wanting to say goodbye, but because maybe, hey, they're gonna have him go out in a much more dramatic, over the top fashion, basically, where he gets maybe beaten to a bloody pope or something, or just downright gets destroyed by Gunther, and that's his sunset. So this is kind of his way to wave to the fans and say goodbye and acknowledge them and all that stuff. So we'll see. We'll see and everything. But overall, if this is the end of Brock Lesnar's WWE career, it is one of the most fantastic careers in WWE. Brock Lesnar, man, just focusing purely on him as an athlete. He from the moment he came in WWE, Brock Lesnar was just this amazing. He had all this big muscles about him. He was a super heavyweight, but then he's a heavyweight. I don't know if we're going to call him super heavyweight. He wasn't like Mark Henry or the Big Show or anything like that, but he was a heavyweight nonetheless. And for his heavyweight size, man, he had the power, the speed, just a freak athlete. And you see that even now, man, just still an athlete at almost 50 years old. So yeah, fantastic, man. I can't say enough good things about this. Heyman and Brock Lesnar were embracing in the ring. So yeah, this is cool. This is one of those defining career moments and everything. So for sure. Before we get going, let's check on to the chat. Paul Clown Levesque. All right, I will assume by your name you are no fan of Paul Levesque, Triple H and everything. I know Triple H did his thing tonight in terms of booking WrestleMania 42 night 2 and stuff like that. Night 1 definitely I thought left quite a bit to be desired. It was good, but it wasn't I thought levels of greatness, which is what, like I said, WrestleMania 42 night 2 gave us. But you said new era, and breaking news, Ryan Allen Reeves is All Elite. So another wrestler who's gone to AEW. I don't know if I'm really too familiar with him, because kind of nowadays I'm so busy I mostly follow WWE. But hey, man, if he got the chance to go to AEW, glad for him, because man, shoot, you can get him on AEW, WWE. That definitely raises your profile to a national audience. And then my boy, the man 0001, glad you could join the chat, man. I love you to give your live perspective here and everything. Yeah, the man 0001 was in attendance both nights for WrestleMania, night 1 and night 2. He says, well, Brock Lesnar's career is belly up and deleted. Yeah, he's no longer a fan of Brock Lesnar, so he is glad to see Brock Lesnar and all that stuff. In terms of his in-ring work, though, and stuff, like I said, I've always been a big fan of Brock Lesnar as far as what he can do into that ring and stuff like that and everything. So yeah, in UFC and what he's done for sports and all that stuff. But man 0001, not a fan of Brock Lesnar, so hey, he got what he wanted to see. Brock is out of here and gone. Triple H got shook up, LOL. You know, I've been hearing into some of the family I was watching WrestleMania with and everything, they had their suspicion that maybe, they saw the feedback to night 1 and said, we need to really make sure we got our stuff together for night 2. So man, hey, if that's what happened, it definitely produced us a lot better stuff. He also says, but I am thankful for him conquering John Cena though. So that's man 01 say he might not like Brock Lesnar that much anymore, but he don't dislike him that much. And he's like, okay, John Cena though, like there you go. Like, yeah, you got no shortage of Brock Lesnar destroying John Cena throughout the last quarter century, man 0001. So I can see that you're happy about that. All right, we're going to move on to the next match here. All right, second match was the WWE Intercontinental Championship ladder match. JD McDonagh versus Dragon Lee versus Rusev versus Javon Evans versus Rey Mysterio versus Penta. All right, so this is also part of the second match they were having air on the ESPN channel, so this was free for anyone who had cable to basically be able to watch, and these were a great selection of matches because I feel like Brock Lesnar and Oba brought that whole intensity where you're like, oh snap, and Brock Lesnar is well known, he's one of the most biggest mainstream stars to ever be in WWE, just because I think of like his UFC run, and he was popular for his day in WWE as well. And then you put this match out here. This is going to wow a lot of casual fans who aren't familiar maybe with WWE, or they want to see what today's athletes like, because this match certainly showed that as great as Razor Ramon and Shawn Michaels was at WrestleMania 10, the superstars have taken it to a different level. I like this match a lot. So a lot of the highlights were in this moment. So here's some of the highlights that I was able to jot down as far as my review goes, and things like that. Man 0001 also says, man, I can't believe Rusev lost on Rusev Day. Shake my head. Yeah, there was a lot of Rusev chants going on in this match. And speaking of Rusev, man, he does this backdrop to JD McDonagh where he ends up falling on the edge of the ladder. It looked brutal. Like, oh man, me grabbing my back. And there's a cool part where Rey Mysterio gets a 619, and I forget who it was against, but their face was like, these ladder matches have so much going on, it's hard to keep it track in my notes, so I'm doing my best I can. But their face was like all in between the ring ropes of the ladder, so I thought that was cool, man. A lot of people were concerned Rey Mysterio, he's over 50 years old now, and you're gonna put him in a ladder match, and he looked good, man. Phenomenal how Rey Mysterio was able to constantly defy the clock of time and everything. Javon Evans was just absolutely incredible. I can imagine, man, 0001 in the chat, man, it must have been amazing to see him flying all over the ring in person and stuff. And he says, yeah, he was at both Shawn Michaels and he was at both Shawn versus Razor and this one too. Yeah, man, nice. You have witnessed the first and last WrestleMania and most recent matches, ladder matches at WrestleMania, man. Of course, you've been to a lot of them. Yeah, man, 0001 is a big veteran. He's been going to these WrestleManias since WrestleMania 9 and everything, so he's been to quite a few of them. Now, as far as the match though, at one point in the match, Javon Evans, good gosh, man, this guy, he's jumping, he's like all over the match, getting so much airtime, jumping over the ring to one of the opponents outside was insane. Like the amount of airtime he got from the middle of the ring, through the ropes and then into the aisleway, that long aisleway they have for the ramp, man, gosh, it was crazy. At one point in the match, he jumps up to the top rope and propels himself all the way to the height of the top of the ladder in the middle of the ring in midair and is able to do a clothesline to JD McDonagh, and they both go crashing to the mat. insane height, insane athleticism. I was like, whoa, I was blown away. And man, I've seen a lot of ladder matches. You know, as good as Razor and Shawn was back then, we all know WrestleMania 17, my all-time favorite WrestleMania, as I know it is for a lot of longtime wrestling fans who have been watching at least since the 90s or 2000s, man, will know that TLC 2 match is still a classic to this day. I think my brother also told me like that's his all-time favorite match and stuff. We grew up watching all that stuff in the Attitude Era together and everything. So yeah, man, at one point in this match, what we get here, yeah, there's another crazy highlight where he does an Irish whip, where Penta, I think he does an Irish whip to Rey Mysterio. And when Rey Mysterio comes running back, you know, from the ropes to Penta just basically picks up Rey and throws him in the air over his head, and Rey goes flying over Penta's head over the top of the rope onto Rusev, and ends up crashing through Rusev, and they both end up crashing through the ladder that is outside of the ring, basically lodged between the announce table and the ring apron, and both go through the ladder, breaking it in half, and it gets a holy SHIT chant out from the audience, man. Insane. Other highlights include Rusev looking like an absolute beast at one point, slamming Javon Evans hard onto one of those steel ladders. Like, and that's what's really good. Everybody shined in this match. Rusev didn't do any like the big athletic stuff off the top of the ladder. He was just there to basically slam everybody around on ladders, and that's good. You need a good balance and stuff in this match. And I'm so glad, because if you've ever heard, that was apparently one of Rusev's biggest reasons for wanting to come to WWE, because he wanted just to work more. He wanted to wrestle, and he wasn't getting that in AEW. And his wife CJ Perry said she was almost, I think, cried hearing the news he was going to make the WrestleMania card. And I mean, between Monday and this match, they really made Rusev look like an absolute beast. And I hope this is the beginning of them doing more with Rusev. You know, I was always a fan of Rusev and everything. So yeah, even now he said he doesn't want to go back to being the Rusev character. He wants to instead actually go on and become just be this more ruthless character and everything, and more serious and stuff. There is a cool moment where Rey Mysterio jumps off the top of the ladder to Dragon Lee for a jumping Hurricane Rana, but gets caught into a Styles Clash as Dragon Lee pays tribute to the newly WWE Hall of Famer AJ Styles. That was phenomenal. Yes, pun intended. So from the top of the ladder, JD McDonagh at one point, he does a Spanish fly to Dragon Lee, which gets a huge "this is awesome" chant from the audience. Penta, he does a Mexican destroyer from the top of the ladder to JD McDonagh onto another ladder that's wedged in between the same ladder and the turnbuckle post. Man, just good stuff here. And at one point, Rusev, he ends up knocking Javon Evans off the ladder, but is having a hard time climbing it because he's selling the effects of his leg. And right when he reaches the top of the title, Javon Evans comes out of nowhere and basically jumps off the top rope into the middle of the ring area where the ladder is, and yanks him off the ladder with an OG cutter, with once again some serious distance and some serious hang time. Javon Evans, man, fantastic stuff. And the dude's only 21 years old, man. It's crazy, man. He is that good. From here, Penta hits a Mexican destroyer off the ladder to Javon Evans, and then climbs up and grabs the Intercontinental title, retaining it. Man, it would have been awesome for me if Javon Evans won, but I'm happy for Penta as well. I'm happy he got his big WrestleMania moment. Javon Evans is 21 years old, so he still has a long career ahead of him, as long as he's able to, make sure that, he stays on the right path and, in his personal life, and make sure that he stays, healthy enough and everything. The sky's the limit for this guy. Literally, I mean, look how high he gets into the sky, right? And besides, one of the things too, a big complaint, and we often say this is, and I'm not a fan of it myself, is when they put the title on somebody and then shortly after take the title off of them. So I'm glad they're not doing any hot potato situation here with the championship. So Penta just won the Intercontinental title, and he got a big win, and the fact that he was the one that made this match and called these guys out to, or be a part of this match, or open them up to be a part of match in one, makes Penta look even more great as an Intercontinental champion. And man, by this point, I'm like, by this point, I'm thinking that if they want, We don't need night one highlight reel. Oh, okay, that's later on. I'll get to that in a bit. But yeah, this match was fantastic. And I'm like 2 matches in and we already cooking more on night 2 than night 1. The man 0001, actually, he had told me he felt that night 2 was taking a big number 2 all over night 1. Let's see. He also says Rey Mysterio will keep going. LOL. Hey man, he at that age, if you can still go to that level, I don't blame him. You know, he wants to get the most out of his wrestling career that he can. You know, because I don't think we're gonna see Rey Mysterio at 70-something years old or 80 years old being able to still do this. So yeah, man, take advantage of what you can and stuff like that. So yeah, that was fantastic. Before we get to the next match, I put here in the notes, and I didn't really talk about this much on night 1. So I'm like, we don't need to see this night 1 highlight reel again. Let's start the next part of the show. If they want to show highlights of night 1, why didn't they do it on ESPN channel when more people were watching? At this point, everyone who's watching on ESPN Plus has already paid, or if you're like me, your internet provider gives it to you for free. Either way, we know what happened last night. Let's keep it moving, because the more they stall for time, the more it's going to be looking unjustifiable that Io Sky versus Asuka didn't make this card. At least that's how I'm feeling. So yeah, that's what I actually text out to my buddies as we were watching this, because it's like dawning, man. It's dawning, because I saw the stats. Despite WrestleMania night 1 being almost like a 4-hour show, there was only like 80 minutes of wrestling and stuff like that. And they had so many advertisements and all that stuff. And I get the advertisement, that, you know, I understand, especially as a content creator, you know, hey, when the sponsorship money comes, hey, man, that's some big money. So I don't fault WWE for doing that at all. But what's up with the structure here? Like, we used to watch 4-hour WrestleMania shows that had 16 matches. One of the greatest WrestleManias of all time is 4 hours long. WrestleMania 17, they stuck a whole bunch of matches on there. Some were short, some matches were a little bit longer, but they got all 16 on there. And then I'm thinking like, wow, you could fit more. Surely, you know, Asuka and Io Sky you could put on there. But hey, you know what? They had a hard time selling those tickets at WrestleMania, so they really probably needed to make sure they go overboard as much as they possibly could. I mean, even if it was overboard, they had to go all out on the sponsorships and ads and stuff. But I just thought that was counterproductive, because it's like, I understand wanting to show and they would run down the entire card. Do that when you're on the first hour, when you're being seen on the ESPN channel, for all the new fans that are coming back, or new fans who are being exposed for the first time, so they can see like, okay, this is the incentive for wanting to come back and watch the show. But with this, it's like, why are you showing this on ESPN Plus? Like, why are we watching 10-15 minutes of running down what happened on night 1 and talking about what's coming on night 2? It's like, yeah, everybody who's watching, they've been sold. We're literally on the ESPN Plus Unlimited because we are sold. We know the cards. We know what happened because we wanted to see. We wouldn't be here if we didn't want to see it. So it's like, why are they doing this with their audience? And it became very clear that, man, they just want to stall for time and everything. So there was a lot of this. But as a content creator, it does give me time to catch up on my notes and all that stuff and everything. Let's go to chat before we go to our next match. Man 0001 says, Night 2 is like DBZ, Dragon Ball Z. Okay, he says Night 2 is like Dragon Ball Z, and Night 1 was like Dragon Ball GT. Yeah, you know what? I think I can agree with that. Yep. You know, Dragon Ball Z ain't perfect, but boy, does it have some epic moments, just like Night 2 had some epic moments. DBGT, like I said, I like GT, but nowhere near as like DBZ or OG Dragon Ball. And there were some good things on Night 1, but yeah, a lot of it kind of fell short of the glory compared to what we got in Night 2. So you know what, I gotta say, yeah, that's a pretty nice analogy and everything. But I think we can agree Night 1 is definitely no Dragon Ball evolution, that is for sure, because like I said, Night 1 was still solid and okay. I left the stadium with the daylight still outside. Yeah, I saw that during the post shows, the daylight was still out there and everything. So yeah, it was nighttime over here. Oh, what's up, Notorious Heels podcast, man? What's up? Been listening to y'all on on Spotify and everything and things like that. I'm gonna be checking out you all's night 2 review soon and everything on there, and everything. Yeah, if you guys haven't checked out Notorious Heels podcast, man, good folks that know their pro wrestling, man. Yeah, it's good to see. Hope all is well and everything. Looking forward to hear what you all had to say about night 2. Thanks for joining the chat, man. It's always a pleasure to see you. And now we're gonna move on to our next match. Man, I don't know how to do Trick Williams scream. What's his yell? Woo! Or is it something like that? Oh yeah, I don't know what is that, but yeah, whoop that trick. All right, so the third match was for the WWE United States Championship. Sami Zayn versus Trick Williams. All right, so Sami Zayn comes out to a tremendous amount of boos. Trick Williams comes out with Little Yachty as his hype man, and the entire audience in Allegiant Stadium is yelling, "Whoop that trick! Whoop that trick! Yeah, I like it, man. We need Booker T on commentary. Sometimes I wish they just throw Booker T out there just for Trick Williams and just to call Trick Williams and Stephanie Vaquer's matches and stuff and everything. But yeah, Trick Williams comes out and man, he definitely sounded like an over AF superstar. Shout out to the man 0001. Basically, he shared footage with our friends of just the whole crowd going crazy. And so this man comes out with a coat. Yeah, this was insane. This man came out with a coat that was as long as that as the entire massive ramp. Like, wow. Like, I don't know how long it took to put all that together. There's a funny meme online if you guys saw somebody like Photoshop or AI a CVS receipt all over there on the shot that showed Trick Williams with the long back. That was hilarious, man. That was good. And Sami Zayn, man, he got a lot of boos to this and everything. Notorious Heels podcast. Let me see what he's saying right here. Let's see. Oh man. Oh yeah, of course, bro. Had to pop in. We just finished our review. We loved it. We loved tonight as opposed to last night. Oh yeah, dude. That. Yeah, that's going to be a running theme for sure. When I started out, like, oh man, night 2 completely blew night 1 out of the water. So I feel you on that, man. When I do my rankings of these matches, man, I think this is going to be the first time where almost everything on night 1 is taking a back seat, is going to be the first half, and night 2 will probably be the second half. But maybe not so much because I did love Gunther versus Seth Rollins, but that'll be for that live stream. Staying focused on this live stream though. So basically, every time in this match, Sami basically gets on the offense, the fans are booing. And that's something that I love. The audience reaction, like it was fine last night, but here, man, it just felt like the audience, and maybe Man0001, if you want to stay in the chat because you were part of that audience, on TV, it sounded like, man, in night 2, fans were fully invested into these matches from top to bottom. Night 1, they sometimes felt a little quiet, and then they were getting riled up for certain parts. But this one, man, it just felt like y'all were just, man, y'all were into everything, and that definitely helps the excitement of the show. So yeah, with all that being said, every time in the match, yeah, Sami got that offense, fans booing. At one point outside the ring, Sami Zayn, he beats up Little Yachty, and this gets a massive amount of heat from fans. Like, man, they were booing this. They hated Sami for doing this to Little Yachty, man. That was crazy. Oh my gosh. And everything. And so from there, this gets a massive amount of heat from the fans. And yeah, the crowd heat for this match, well, like I said, it was insane. Fans were very much invested, from haluva kicks, blue thunder bombs, everything he threw at Trick. Trick is kicking out of it. And at one point, Trick Williams, he gets a great near fall on Sami after hitting his signature, the Trick kick. And the audience, they go wild for it. And that's what leads towards the finish. So Little Yachty gets back up and grabs Sami Zayn by the back of his head and, forces him down neck first into the ring apron. Typical WWE old school manager move. It's been around since the beginning of time for pro wrestling. And from here, now this is, he gets it. That's basically him getting his lick back, or as they like to say in pro wrestling, receipt, which they're now pulling on WWE TV. Your receipt, getting their receipt back. So Trick Williams after this. He hits his knee finishing move, which I believe is called, correct me in the comments if I'm wrong, the trick shot. So he gets that, and this leads to him getting the 1, 2, 3 and becoming the new WWE United States champion. And the audience explodes with "whoop that trick, whoop that trick" chants. And man, it is just fantastic. It's a wonderful moment, and you start to see Trick Williams, he celebrates and embraces with his mother and father there. And even on the pre-show, he was talking about how his mother basically had got an injury and really worked hard to get herself, rehabbed herself as much as she could as possible to make sure she would be there, because she didn't want to miss her boy winning his big moment at WrestleMania. So it was just fantastic, wonderful moment. And at this point in the show, I'm like, yes, let's keep this youth movement going, man. And you know what, Sami Zayn, I think, is always great as a heel too. We've had him as a babyface for so long, for a while now, and seeing him work heel again, man, it was just fantastic stuff. I enjoyed it, man. This match was good. It was short. Once again, they were giving some of these matches a short time, but once again, the match did what it needed to do, and it really made Trick Williams look like a big superstar. So glad to be seeing that. Let's see. We in the chat, we got Priestone Fame just followed. Thank you. I appreciate the subscribe. Andre Lee Meta just followed. Thank you. I appreciate all the love. Thank you all for coming out tonight and everything. All right, we're gonna get to our next match here. All right, so our next match was a street fight done at the last minute, apparently. The Demon Finn Balor versus Dominic Mysterio. All right, so it's at this point I started to realize, even down to the entrances, they are better than night 2 than night 1. Like, night 1 had, like I said, it was an okay show with some okay entrances. I thought Cody Rhodes had the most spectacular entrance of the night for night 1. But night 2, they were cooking. They all were cooking. These entrances, holy crap, man. Dominic Mysterio comes out on this giant throne being accompanied by an army of luchadors who, let's be honest, might end up being world champions one day, because, hey, don't forget, CM Punk was disguised as a mobster for John Cena's entrance 20 years ago at WrestleMania 22 in 2006, and then fast forward 20 years later here in 2026, he's made it to WrestleMania 42 as the world champion in the main event. So you never know. It'll be really cool to see as we continue to progress through the years here, if somebody goes like, hey, I was that person right there in the luchador mask accompanying Dominic Mysterio. Now here I am in the WrestleMania main event. Hey, man, love these stories when it happens. So Finn Balor comes out in the Demon entrance, which was always a great highlight to see, with the sick body paint. I know he pays a lady to do the body paint specifically for him. She obviously hasn't had to do much of it over the last few years. But yeah, it was so great. Love the entrance, Dun, 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 dun. We know when the lights come out. Dun, dun, love it, man. And yeah, they had these streamers coming down, the way it covered Finn Balor, and then he threw it off, and part of it was hanging from the camera leading over to Finn Balor. It was fantastic stuff, man. So yeah, right off the bat in this match, I love the aggression that Finn Balor is showing right off the bat. I always want to see that whenever he becomes the Demon persona, because one of my biggest things that I've always talked about with the Demon Finn Balor is the entrance is cool, the makeup is cool, but it just felt like he really didn't wrestle too much different than his normal Finn Balor. And God bless his soul, the late great Bray Wyatt. One of the things I always appreciated about Bray Wyatt, watching him as a fan, is when he was normal Bray Wyatt, he wrestled a certain way, and then when he would turn to the Fiend, he just turned into a whole complete different, more aggressive type of wrestler and everything, and it made you see the difference. Same thing with like Mick Foley. Mick Foley had his main move set, but like when he became Cactus Jack, he became a whole new level of violence, and stuff like that. So you always really appreciate that type of stuff that was being told. So yeah, the story essentially is Dominic is trying to do his best to put the Demon Finn Balor away, but nothing is working. And like I said, I enjoyed Finn Balor being aggressive in this match, because I always kind of felt when I've already mentioned that, when he becomes like the different and everything. But yeah, this match pretty much is very hard hitting. A lot of chairs are used. Some of the highlights include Demon Finn Balor wearing out Dominic Mysterio with a steel chair. There's a pretty funny moment in the match too, where Dominic is taking a while to set up this table, and so he sets the table up, and the table falls over, and this gets a massive amount of boos from the fans. You could especially see in the front row, but then Finn Balor does his cool sit-up, which is like his version of when the Undertaker sits up and everything. So that was really cool. And we kind of get like the finish. When we get to the finish, let me see, I lost my part in my notes. And we kind of get to the finish part of the match here, where Finn Balor wraps a chair. He kind of wraps the chair around Dominic's neck and does the whole drop kick into the corner thing that usually sets up the coup de grace. And it looks sick, man. It looked fantastic the way they shot it from a lower angle like that. From there, Finn Balor puts Dominic on the table and jumps off and does the coup de grace. Looks absolutely sick as he goes through the table and sort of basically lands feet first on Dominic, and he kind of goes to the side, so like he like really planted it in there for Dominic, his feet right into Dominic's stomach and stuff. And from there he gets the pinfall. 1, 2, 3. It's a big victory because this is actually the first time Finn Balor gets a win as the Demon, and almost, man, I don't remember, has it been like 6 or more years? It's been a while. And this is the first time the Demon has been booked by Triple H, so in his creative team, because the last couple of times we saw the Demon Finn Balor, he was booked by Vince McMahon. And you guys, oh my gosh, I've never been a fan of that finish where Finn Balor, they had like one of the production staff cut the ropes, and Finn Balor basically just drops under the weight of the turnbuckle, just snaps apart under the weight of Finn Balor, and Balor comes crashing down, and Roman gets the win. I would have said, like, I understand having Roman be the first person to defeat the Demon, but I was like, just do it clean. Just have him go in there and spear win. Like, why do we need all that nonsense? And then as much as I enjoyed that Hell in a Cell match at WrestleMania 39, it was. In fact, I think it's the best Hell in a Cell match ever in WrestleMania history. Man, I just didn't think Edge needed to go over. And granted, Edge ended up going to AEW, and I like Finn Balor could have really probably used that win a lot and stuff like that. So overall, it's nice to see the Demon Finn Balor, after all these years, finally get a big win and stuff like that. So it was really good to see how Triple H handled Finn Balor's first time in terms of the Demon, and how his creative team did that. So yeah, once again, this match was it was good stuff. I think it was kind of more or less kind of like what Jacob Fatu and Jacob Fatu and Drew McIntyre was, which I thought was one of the better matches of the night, definitely. But yeah, this was good, what it needed to be, and gave us a fantastic moment. So for sure. All right, so we are going to get to our next match, the WWE Women's Championship match, Jade Cargill versus Rhea Ripley, and this was pretty much serving as the co-main event. This match right here, I thought a lot of people had issues with the build up and everything and stuff like that. This was a match right here that I had confidence in. I said, I think both these women are going to go out there and tear the house down and stuff like that. And honestly, I thought this match was really good. One of the high matches of WrestleMania for sure. I can imagine I'll be ranking this match highly. This is one of the best matches I've seen Jade Cargill had. I think she's come a long way since her AEW, and Rhea Ripley's fantastic. Doesn't match the bangers that she's had throughout some of the more recent years here at WrestleMania, but together though, I think Jade Cargill and Rhea Ripley still put up. This is still a strong match to put with Rhea Ripley's amazing resume that she's had. Honestly, I don't think Jade Cargill's had a bad resume of WrestleMania matches either. This is her third WrestleMania match, her first loss apparently, but we'll get to more of that. But yeah, this is good. So both women, they start off with an intense tie-up. In the first part of the match, Jade Cargill is pretty much dominating Rhea Ripley, shoulder tackling her down hard, doing scoop slams hard, reverse power slams right down. But Rhea Ripley, she ends up smiling and asking for Jade to bring it more, which leads to Jade putting her in a very nice, very nice crossface. And certainly, I would say, like, this match is showing how far Jade Cargill has come since her AEW days. Like, Jade Cargill is doing so many different moves in this match that we've never seen her do and everything. So Rhea ends up powering out of it and getting Jade off her feet. The audience starts to become unglued, but Jade puts Rhea down, and then when she runs towards Rhea, Rhea is able to do a kick from the canvas up to her in the face, and is able to do a kick to her up, from the canvas up to Jade's face. But women, both women, they start exchanging ground and pound on the canvas and start exchanging blows from their knees to standing back up. Fans are booing Jade Cargill every time she gets a shot in on Rhea, and then they're cheering Rhea when she gets a shot in on Jade. Rhea Ripley, she gets an electric chair and slams Jade Cargill face first to the canvas for a very good near fall. And from there, Rhea Ripley goes for the riptide, but Jade Cargill reverses it into a hip toss and then does a nice spine buster and even does Rhea Ripley's own pin, which I always used to call Rhea Ripley's inserting the dominance pin or something like that. Jade Cargill from there, she goes for a power bomb and Rhea Ripley reverses it into a Hurricane Rana. And then Rhea Ripley even at one point reverses the Jaded into a pin that Jade Cargill kicks out of there. It's after this we get the shenanigans where Michin and B-Fab go ahead and they interfere. And then from there, Jade Cargill, she pulls off what I think was a Michinoku driver. Shout out to Taka Michinoku. But Rhea Ripley also kicks out at another great near fall. So Jade Cargill, is just showing a lot of different moves at this point in the match that she hasn't been showing, as I was saying. So yeah, I was very impressed with Jade in this match. From here, Io Sky music hits. Yeah, because B-Fab, I forgot to mention the shenanigans start. B-Fab and Michin come out and they're trying to do distractions and stuff like that. From here, Io Sky's music hits as she comes out running down the aisle and she takes out both B-Fab and Michin. And at this point, it became clear Michin is not going to be wrestling. I mean, Io Sky is not going to be wrestling in this match. She's in her regular clothes, but yeah, she comes running down. And in fact, how she ends up taking them out is she jumps, and this is a really good spot. The ending sequence of this match was fantastic. So Io Sky gets on the top of the rope to go for a moonsault, and Jade Cargill runs towards her. So right when Io does the moonsault and is like halfway in the air, Jade Cargill barely just misses and ends trying to get the big boot off on Io Sky, but she ends up basically moonsaulting off the top of the rope, and she ends up crashing down, taking out B-Fab and Michin. And then from there, Rhea Ripley, she gets from behind Jade Cargill, turns up right behind Jade Cargill, and Rhea goes for the riptide, but Jade Cargill escapes and goes for the Jaded again, but just before she can land it, this is really cool. This is clean. This is so smooth. When Jade Cargill goes for the Jaded, right as she's about to land the Jaded, Rhea Ripley is able in midair, basically just is able to smoothly transition underneath Jade Cargill's legs and come up right behind her and perfectly grab her arm and turn it into the riptide and plants her down and scores the 1-2-3 to become a 4-time women's world champion. I tried my best to explain it. It doesn't do it justice. Go out of your way to see the finish of this match. It is spectacular. It is one of the coolest things. And even Rhea Ripley was explaining how a lot of people think, just because she's big and she does all these power moves, is that, hey, she can do some sneaky stuff and everything and show her really athletic and smooth, quick side and stuff. And I'm like, man, the sequence was fantastic. That's going to be an all-time great WrestleMania finish. Yeah, man, I thought these women did their thing. Absolutely. And she celebrates with Io Sky in the ring. They both embrace and tell each other that they love them. They love each other. And they go outside the ring. It's interesting to see a year past, it was Io Sky defeating Bianca Belair and Rhea Ripley and winning the world title. And this year, she didn't even get a match on WrestleMania, man. I thought with as much time as they had for this show, it definitely could have fit Io Sky versus Io Sky versus Asuka on there, but obviously with what I'm going to be talking about next, I guess they wanted to do that was more important, which I get it because it involves John Cena. But this match, absolutely great. Hats off to both women. Definitely one of Jade Cargill's best matches ever. And yeah, her and Rhea basically absolutely, like I said, they delivered. Now this match is one that I really wonder if Bianca Belair's pregnancy changed the entire trajectory of this match, because I actually thought that Jade Cargill was going to win. I thought that's why they introduced B-Fab and Michin as, you know, WWE's version of the baddies, just like she had the AEW baddies, you know, the two women. I think it was like Kiera Hogan and Kiera Hogan and Red Velvet. They kept losing over and over to Jade, and then they just had the whole idea, well, if you can't beat her, join her. And then they were her baddies and basically her hench women and did everything. And that's exactly what they kind of same story they told here in WWE with B-Fab and Michin. And I thought, okay, they're being introduced as the plot device for the match. I'm thinking, okay, they're going to get interfere so that way Jade Cargill retains the championship and Rhea Ripley still looks strong in defeat. But that's not what they did here. I thought they wanted to maybe keep the title on Jade Cargill until Bianca Belair comes back. But I think once it was clear that Bianca Belair is pregnant, it's probably going to be another year before we see her and everything. And who knows how long even after that, because like I said in night one review, Alexa Bliss, I think she was gone almost like 2 years after giving birth and stuff. So who knows? And I'm thinking they figured, well, you know, with Naomi out and Bianca out, Naomi just, you know, of course gave birth as well, so much congratulations to her and Jimmy Uso. I don't know where they're going to go with Jade Cargill after this. So it'll be interesting, especially with her, you know, with her whole baddie faction and stuff, you know, because there she Rhea Ripley overcame the odds. And yeah, but shout out to Rhea Ripley, because this last year, I think really has gone a long way to show Rhea Ripley. She has stayed over AF. And it just goes to show you how popular Rhea Ripley is and that her star power cannot be denied. And they had to put the women's world title back on her because I think at this point she is the woman to lead this division. She is the top woman. And as WWE gets ready to build up some new women like Sol Ruka, if Blake Moreau comes to the main roster, Lash Legend, you know, you have Rhea Ripley to be kind of that standard and everything that they can hopefully build up and everything, because it's going to probably be another long while before we eventually get the long-awaited Bianca Belair versus Rhea Ripley match. So I thought overall, yeah, that was that it was a good move to put Rhea Ripley. She's still over. She's one of the most over people on the roster, not just women or men. You hear the pop she gets when she comes out. Yeah, Rhea Ripley is that over. So I'm glad to see her become the women's world champion. And I eventually think this is going to lead to her finally defeating Io Sky, the woman that she has not been able to have an answer for. The thing I will also say before I move on to the next match, when it comes to Jade Cargill, I'm disappointed with how WWE handled her title reign. She had a lengthy championship reign from what I think almost like, when did she win that title? In either like September or October last year, and held it all the way to April. Like I think she said it was like a 169-day reign as champion, and she only had 2 title defenses. She didn't even make her. She won that. Think about it. She won that back in the fall of 2025 and didn't even defend the title in the storylines until 2026, early 2026. And then when you look at it from there, she didn't even defend it after that until WrestleMania. Like, wow. Like, it would have been nice to have her at least defend that title once every month and rack up some wins. Like, you didn't get much. Her title was just, she looked the part. She absolutely did. And I thought her promos were great, but it was a lot of her just chasing B-Fab and Michin until eventually they just joined her. And she got I thought the stuff with Jordan Grace was good. Then she beat her, and then we got to Rhea, and that was it. Like, that's another reason I'm like, maybe they're going to want to also actually rank up some championship defenses, but this kind of went the same direction a lot of what Io Sky went. You know, this is a lot of what they did with Io Sky last year when she won the world title. So hopefully they do more with Rhea Ripley. I hope that, Rhea Ripley actually is going to be defending the title more, and we're not just going to get a repeat of how WWE handled Jade Cargill and Io Sky, because when Tiffany Stratton was champion, she was projected as a big defending champion. So yeah, we'll see where they go from here and all that stuff. But yeah, that's pretty much all I got to say as far as this match is concerned. We'll go on to the next segment. Alrighty, so if you were probably wondering why Io Sky, vs Asuka, and other favorites like Carmelo Hayes, why there was no time to put them on this show in addition to all the ads that WWE was running and the commercials, it's because of this segment here, most likely, I'm guessing. So John Cena basically comes out to announce that the attendance for night 2 was 55,255. And then says that the combined over total tickets, because they're combining the same people that paid for both nights, I guess, is 106,072 for both nights in attendance combined. So yeah, I think hopefully WWE learns their lesson about overcharging these tickets and stuff like that, and they'll be able to fill out the stadiums much more better. So we'll see how that goes and everything like that. All right, and then from there, as John Cena says, this concludes his night, and how honored he was at WrestleMania host. He's interrupted by The Miz and Kit Wilson. I don't know if he's still in the chat or not, but shout out to Notorious Heels podcast. I know they are both big John Cena fans and everything, so I'm pretty sure they enjoyed seeing John Cena, the new suit-wearing John Cena that we'll be seeing from now on whenever he makes appearances since he's retired. But yeah, John Cena, he shakes hands with The Miz, but doesn't know who Kit Wilson is. And before Kit Wilson can say who he is, Danhausen comes out with I believe the proper term nowadays, I believe, is little people. But Michael Cole flat out calls them midgets. Which is something I never thought I would be hearing WWE ever say with today's landscape in the world. So I'm like, oh wow, okay. So I'm like, I did not think WWE was going to actually drop that word. But yeah, the little people for the Danhausen that are Danhausens, the little people Danhausens, they come out, and Danhausen is happy to meet John Cena. He shakes his hand, but The Miz tries to put a stop to it, saying that Danhausen is making a mockery as he's in the ring with two goats, being him and John Cena, and one soon-to-be goat and Kit Wilson, which I actually do think, I think Kit Wilson has some really great potential to go far. And little Danhausen, then they punch Kit Wilson in the balls, and then they start jumping him, and then The Miz starts beating up the little Danhausens and throwing them out, and from there, Danhausen then punched The Miz in the balls, and just like one of the little Danhausens did, yeah, that's because that's what they did to the little Danhausen did to the Kit Wilson, and then he delivers his own 5-knuckle shuffle, and the little Danhausens, they carry out The Miz. This is ridiculous. They carry out The Miz, and Miz is like laid out as if he's being sacrificed or something, and from here, a smoke bomb goes off in the middle of the ring, but I guess it malfunctioned, and it was probably intentionally malfunctioned, and Danhausen just runs out from the smoke cloud and goes under the ring, and the mini Danhausens, they just drop The Miz right there on the middle of the aisleway, and they go running underneath the ring there, and John Cena then announces, saying that, hey, he loves the retirement life, and says it's now time for the main event. Oh man, I mean, yeah, listen, John Cena is a legend, and so whenever WWE can still utilize him even post-retirement, because he is an ambassador for the company, yeah, it makes sense. And like I said, it was interesting to see John Cena trying to run like he usually does, but he's in a suit now, and you know, instead of his regular short shirt and shorts and stuff. So I don't blame them for using John Cena. But yeah, I think a lot of people are going to look at this and be like, this is why we couldn't get Io Sky vs Asuka, and it's not even, you couldn't even fit this segment on there. They had so many advertisements and all that stuff. I guess it's one of those things they couldn't and everything. You know, I thought because he was there and he lives I thought because he was there and he lives, I thought at some point we're gonna get Stone Cold Steve Austin, as my shirt shows. I thought we were gonna get him coming out with on the ATV machine and stuff, and hopefully be a lot more careful this time around and things like that, because I know he said it was like really hard to control that version of it, and I thought maybe he's gonna come out and do a stunner and everything, but no, they kept Stone Cold Steve Austin off of this show and everything. So yeah, it is what it is there, and yeah, but I think a lot of people are gonna look at this and it's just the time, like you they could have fit so much more on this show. There are definitely wrestlers and matches that could have been put on this show, and even what they did, they limited the time so much, even on night 2. So it's like, wow, okay. Well, one thing that didn't get its time limited, and by the way, it was great to see John Cena again utilized in this manner and everything. So yeah, I mean, I'm glad him and Danhausen got a good segment. I'm glad Danhausen got a WrestleMania moment, because I think WWE has utilized him far better than AEW, and it shows with the merchandise sales. But yes, talking about something that didn't get its time cut is this match coming up here. So, oh man, let's get to this main event, but let me take a little break right quick. All right, it is now time for the main event of the evening and the weekend, the WWE World Championship match, the OTC Roman Reigns versus CM Punk. Man, so basically right here, CM Punk, well, we have actually first Roman Reigns. He comes out in this big orchestra type entrance as images of the Samoan dynasty basically shows from, you know, the Anoa'i family. And interesting enough, Roman Reigns, he comes out to his head of the table music and not his I Am Greatness music. So it's kind of like Roman Reigns going back to basics here. I like both versions of the theme song. I Am Greatness is a more heroic sounding version, but Head of the Table is that more edgy sounding version and stuff. So it's cool to see him come out to that again. So yeah, and Roman Reigns looks in tremendous shape as he's walking down to the ring. And there was a great shot where they did a close up of Roman's face with where you could see someone behind him had the zebra characters that Roman and CM Punk, I believe, both voiced, and was the movie called Zootopia, I think it was called, and everything. I didn't really follow or seen the movie, but I think that's what it's called. Roman is very much over as the fans are out, got their ones in the air, myself included, and everything. And then from Roman's it's made mention that this is Roman Reigns' 11th WrestleMania main event, with Hulk Hogan having the second most at number 8. And so that was really, really cool and stuff like that. Misiri Kartari, the beginning, plays during a really cool video package as it shows off CM Punk's career highlights, and a drone is flying all around Vegas, eventually zooming in on the top of Legend Stadium with CM Punk sitting cross-legged right on the top of the roof. So I thought that was really cool. And for long time CM Punk fans, because I started watching him back in when he first came to WWE's version of ECW. So this song apparently predates that. So if you've been following CM Punk on the independent scene far before WWE, then you were very familiar with this theme song and everything. From here, when he walks out to the stadium, he yells, "It's clobbering time!" and Cult of Personality starts playing with the entire audience singing it. So far, the reaction is sounding very mixed during this, during the ring introduction. So I was very much noticing, like, you kind of wonder what was going to be the reaction, because Roman and CM Punk are very much seen as basically being baby faces. After the ring introductions, the bell rings and both men come face to face, trash talking each other. At first, CM Punk starts getting the better of Roman in the early exchange. Both men go from smiles to Roman getting more intense, shoving Punk. Roman knocks down CM Punk just like Punk knocked him down previously, and both are talking trash and slapping one another. Roman eventually is able to do the leapfrog and turns it into he does a leapfrog and turn into a CM Punk says for a counter. Yeah, he does leapfrog over the counter for CM Punk. The match starts getting getting more and more intense as both men battle to the outside. CM Punk takes a nasty spill to the outside when he gets to the announce table to start gloating and everything like that and stuff like that. I think he was like flexing. No. Yeah, he takes an announcement, but that's later in the match. But yeah, Roman Reigns gets up and slams him off the table back first to the mat. Yeah, that was devastating. The way he like threw him right off the announce table, it was like a sickening thud, like boom. I'm like, oh man. Yeah, CM Punk definitely was taking a lot of risks in this match given his age and injury history. But yeah, there you go. You had it going right there and things like that and that nature. All right, and then from here, from there, after that sickening thud, Roman Reigns starts talking trash, telling him, "Stay down again. Say that again to me, you bitch." There's a lot of Twitter line. This ain't a promo class, son, and something along those lines. Yeah, Roman was just great at doing all the trash talk. So Roman Reigns, he then delivers a huge smack to CM Punk when he's halfway outside the ring ropes, pulls him into the ring, and then clobbers him with the corner clotheslines. But CM Punk, he makes a comeback eventually, getting rolled down. He gets back up and he's able to get Roman Reigns down with the bulldog and does the go to sleep. But Roman is able to counter out of it with elbows and slams him shoulder first into the corner of the turnbuckle post and then hits the Superman punch for a near fall. Now, there's a pretty cool moment here where CM Punk is down and Roman Reigns goes for the ooh, and when Roman is like back, like, you see CM Punk comes out of nowhere and boom, just knees Roman right in the face of that running turnbuckle, that running knee that he does into the side and everything. That was like, man, that was really cool. And then from there, CM Punk ends up going ahead and doing another running knee to Roman's face. So I don't think we've ever seen that before. So that was something really cool to see in a Roman Reigns match, a new spot like that. So from here, CM Punk, he knocks Roman Reigns down a few times with the clothesline as he's holding Roman's other arm and throws him out of the ring and then does a suicide dive and then gets on the announce table with his knee on Roman's chest. And that's where he starts doing the whole flexing and stuff like that. From here, you're getting dueling chants. Let's go Roman. Let's go Punk. Let's go Roman. Let's go Punk. Right? So Roman Reigns is laid out on the table and CM Punk takes a long time attempting to do a jumping flying elbow similar to what he did at WrestleMania 29 against The Undertaker, which had me fearing for CM Punk. Like I said, given his age and injury history, I'm like, oh, this is not 2013 anymore. I'm like, I don't know how this was going to go. And once Roman got involved, I'm like, oh, okay, they're probably not going to, once Roman Reigns gets involved, I'm like, okay, they're probably not going to do that spot because before he can even do the jumping elbow, Roman Reigns comes up and knocks him down on top of the turnbuckle where it looks like his head hits the top of the turnbuckle post. From here, Roman eventually gets CM Punk's leg caught in the ropes, and leaving him hanging, and he delivers about 2 or 3 consecutive Superman punches while basically CM Punk is completely just hanging down there in the back. Hanging, by his leg, and CM Punk is bleeding at this point. It looks like either from the nose or the mouth, and CM Punk eventually becomes free, but Roman Reigns, he starts trash talking the camera and clears the announcement. Oh yeah, before that, I think before he becomes free, CM Punk, this is a part of the match where Roman should have probably got disqualified, but the referee decided to be lenient and have some leniency and let him go ahead and do it. So Roman takes up the steel stairs while CM Punk is hanging and smashes into CM Punk's face and stuff. So it's like, oh, okay, so they're not gonna disqualify him. And I guess who wants to see the main event of WrestleMania in a disqualification and stuff like that. So I guess that makes sense. And that's where CM Punk is like bleeding from the nose and the mouth. All right. So, and then from there, CM Punk eventually, yeah, he becomes free. Roman starts trash talking to the camera and he clears the announce table. From here, CM Punk is definitely busted open from the forehead now. And Roman Reigns, he then does a massive throwing power bomb to CM Punk and breaks through the announce table. CM Punk gets sent flying through that announce table, similar to what he did during the build up to this. From here, Roman Reigns throws CM Punk, bloodied and battered mess, into the ring and does the warrior cry, where he goes, ooh, ah, and from the ring. And from there, he goes for the spear, but CM Punk catches him with the go to sleep, but only gets a near fall. Fans are very much into the match at this point. I'm on the edge of my seat, even myself. I'm like, this main event is so much better than night one's main event. So eventually from here, Roman Reigns is able to land the spear on CM Punk, but CM Punk kicks out at 2 for another great near fall that leaves Roman in disbelief, and the fans are chanting, this is awesome. From here, Roman just loses it from here, and he starts bashing CM Punk's face into the mat, basically just multiple times, banging his head like up and down in the mat, man. It's like, yeah, Roman was going crazy, and then after that, Roman kind of calmed himself down. It's like, no, I gotta get into it. I gotta be cool about this. I gotta keep cool, keep my head cool in the game and stuff. Like I said, Roman Reigns, just such a master storyteller when it comes to the trash talk in the ring and everything. All right, so as Roman Reigns picks up CM Punk mocks the chef's kiss. It mocks the show. I think my auto correct must have done something wrong there. CM Punk mocks Roman Reigns, but Roman picks him up to try and do the go to sleep and stuff like that. Yeah, I think CM Punk was mocking Roman Reigns ooh-ah chant or something at this point. I'm not sure what happened in my transcription there for my notes, but from there, Roman picks him up and tries to do the go to sleep. However, just before he can land his knees, CM Punk, Roman is the one. Yeah, he tried to mock CM Punk's go to sleep taunt, tries to do the go to sleep to him, and CM Punk ends up grabbing Roman Reigns by the knee, and he lands on his feet, grabs Roman by the leg and knocks him down with a kick for another near fall. I knew this was going to end well. I knew this wasn't going to end well because historically speaking, as I've always mentioned, when it comes to these things, WWE has shown many times in their storytelling, you'll always have someone try to mock their opponent's finisher move and stuff, and it doesn't end up well for them, just like John Cena and The Rock at WrestleMania 28. So sure enough, from here, CM Punk then starts going for Roman Reigns' Superman punch, and he actually does land it, but gets a near fall. CM Punk then starts getting mad, and he starts doing the ground and pounding on Roman Reigns, and CM Punk, he then takes the Ulafala off from a fan nearby that I guess Roman Reigns may have gave to somebody, or maybe the fan who was sitting, it was a fan sitting next to UFC Hall of Famer Daniel Cormier, and I'm guessing maybe just whatever was going on there, he was a fan that may have agreed to this spot for a while back. All right, and then so as he's agreeing to that, so basically after that, CM Punk does Roman Reigns' warrior cry, ooh-ah, the ooh-ah with the Ulafala on, and he goes for the spear, only to get caught in a guillotine, which I thought was great because he looked like he nailed Roman Reigns with that spear, but Roman caught him just in time and put him in the guillotine. And so from here, CM Punk, he escapes, eventually knocks Roman down and throws off the Ulafala and puts Roman Reigns in the Anaconda Vice, but CM Punk is able to do a handstand out of it and escape and goes for a sharpshooter, but before he could put the sharpshooter on, Roman kicks CM Punk, causing CM Punk to get to fall down right back into the guillotine. But before CM Punk can go to sleep, literally in the guillotine, he does another handstand into pinfall, so he kind of like bridges over Roman Reigns, and this causes Roman Reigns to break the submission. Both men from here get up and do a double clothesline, and the fans give them all a standing ovation. I was giving them a standing ovation right here watching the match because I was like, man, this is fantastic. All right, and then from there, both men, yeah, from there, the exchange and blows is very much a mixed reaction that we're getting here, with cheers and boos both times as they clobber each other. As both exchanging blows, CM Punk gets a near fall and then goes for a headbutt, but then goes down to sell with Roman because, of course, as they always say, Samoans, they have very hard heads and things like that. So Roman Reigns, he takes off his tape and throws it, or no, CM Punk takes off his tape and he throws it at Roman Reigns, and the referee gets distracted by this, and while the referee basically picks up the tape to go throw it out of the ring, CM Punk, he then basically takes a play out of Roman Reigns' old page and gives Roman the low blow. So at this point, CM Punk is becoming very desperate. Now, technically, when you think about it, earlier in the match, Roman Reigns was the first one to use a weapon that would have got himself disqualified, and so maybe CM Punk figured in the match with the psychology here, well, okay, if you're going to use your steel steps against me or something which would be disqualification, then I'm going to go ahead and do a low blow. But he did it when the referee wasn't looking, so it makes you wonder there in terms of that. So then from here and everything, guys, sorry too, I apologize that I keep muting and everything because my allergies are acting up and stuff, and I don't want to hear you guys to hear all that. But continuing powering through for this match, eventually CM Punk gets Roman Reigns back onto the announce table, and CM Punk is able to deliver the flying clothesline from the top rope to Roman Reigns through the announce table, and it looks like CM Punk was able to land it perfectly fine. So that was good. This is a classic move that he did back at WrestleMania 29 against The Undertaker. So, I mean, at this age and stage, CM Punk still being able to pull that off. He was really going all out, all the stops out for this match. All right, so then from here, CM Punk, he drags Roman Reigns back in the ring and does the GTS. Roman's body goes into the ring ropes and falls back onto CM Punk's shoulders, and CM Punk then goes up for another GPS but collapses, leaving both men to fall to the canvas from exhaustion of the match, for which this story is actually a callback to how CM Punk won against Gunther when he won the world title back last August. So that was a really nice, cool callback where I say it was really making it look like, oh man, is CM Punk gonna get it here and everything? Is he gonna lose and things of that nature? Or I should say, if this is going to look like it's Roman Reigns going to lose from here. So from there, after that spot, CM Punk gets up and Roman Reigns nails the spear on CM Punk. And CM Punk is pretty much out on his knees and starts like smacking around at Roman Reigns. He's got very little energy left, and he's barely got much left himself. But Roman, he starts, getting focused, trash talking some more. And Roman then goes for a second spear that puts CM Punk down for the 1, 2, 3, and Roman Reigns wins the World Heavyweight Championship, becoming a 7-time world champion. This is his first time winning the this version of the WWE World Heavyweight Championship, but he's an overall 7-time world champion now, concluding what I thought was an absolute epic main event. My gosh, amazing. Wow. So Roman Reigns, he celebrates in the ring he celebrates in the ring and in near ringside with all his kids and his wife, and he gets back in the ring. And if you look behind him in the background as Roman goes into the ring, you can see actually CM Punk just like basically dramatically falls out, and the referee just quickly runs over to check on him and everything. And I'm assuming that was just selling him in a dramatic way, just him selling in a dramatic way. From there, Roman Reigns is in the middle of the ring and raises the Ulafala in the WWE World Championship as the hard camera pans out, showing all the fans behind him, concluding WWE WrestleMania 42. Fantastic stuff. just absolute fantastic stuff. What a main event. You know what? When I do my ranking of the matches, don't be surprised to see this in an extremely high spot because wow, this was the longest match of the entire card. I think like over 30 minutes and stuff like this. Man, just like I said, it was phenomenal. I love this match. Everything about it. And so looking at this match here, overall, man, like this match, I have so much high praise for this match. I think legitimately this has to go down as one of Roman Reigns' top 3 WrestleMania matches of all time. It really does, because I love those 2 matches with Cody Rhodes, and eventually I'm thinking about doing a live stream one of these days where I rank all of Roman Reigns' matches, so definitely expect this one to be high on the list whenever that time comes. And for CM Punk, this probably has to be among his top 2 greatest WrestleMania matches of all time. I got to put it right up there with the Undertaker match that he had at WrestleMania 29. This was phenomenal, and that's the thing, CM Punk to come back at this stage of his career, at his age, his injury history, and the fact that this man has put out so many bangers in WWE, like the series of matches with Drew McIntyre, Seth Rollins, the Finn Balor matches, like, man, Seth freaking Rollins. Yeah, what he's had with Seth freaking Rollins there, but CM Punk, man. And then this match with Roman, this was fantastic, and this was one of the dream matches that I wanted to see when it came out to it. Roman Reigns and CM Punk, like that, I was like, man, this is gonna be awesome, and it just really goes to show you how far Roman Reigns has come since CM Punk, had left. The story buildup was kind of up and down as far as I thought about it. It had its highs and it had its low points, and it's like it was kind of up and back and forth. But these 2 guys absolutely delivered. Tremendous work in the ring, showed why they are 2 of the all-time greats and things of that nature and stuff. And this goes back to what I was saying about Randy Orton and Cody Rhodes, is that when it came to them, when it came to Roman Reigns and Cody Rhodes, or Cody Rhodes and Randy Orton, like it didn't matter who won because both guys were established. And going into this match, I was like, I'm a big fan of both of these guys. I think they're both all-time greats. It didn't matter because I'm like, Roman Reigns, he's probably going to be part-time again, but more about that coming up here. Roman Reigns, if he goes off and he becomes a champion, again, he's already established. Nothing's going to top his 1,300 plus day reign as champion, but I'm like, it's just more established for Roman Reigns there. And then I'm like, CM Punk, he's established too and everything. And I'll say this actually too about CM Punk, why I'm so much at peace when it comes to CM Punk. I thought the way Triple H and his creative team booked CM Punk as world champion here was much better than that 400 plus day reign he had when Vince McMahon had booked him as world champion, because in that one, they were barely using him as the main event. You had John Laurinaitis and John Cena main eventing over CM Punk. Yeah, come on now. And here we got to see CM Punk have his fair share of main events. Yeah, I thought this reign right here was strong. CM Punk looked absolutely strong as world champion, since the fall when he beat Jey Uso, going all the way up here to WrestleMania. Absolutely. I thought this certainly was better than the last time he had this a lengthy world title reign, going back to the early 2010s. So yeah, as a CM Punk fan, I was pleased. I was very pleased with it. And I'm glad to see CM Punk be able to come back and get this type of reign as world champion, get this second WrestleMania main event. So that was really good to see. And another thing too, that's one of the reasons why I can look back and be like, yeah, if CM Punk, if it was over for CM Punk and he loses the world title from here, I'm like, man, that was an incredible run. And CM Punk definitely has further really cemented his legacy in WWE and professional wrestling. And then I was like, even if he wins, and I'm like, okay, Roman Reigns, he's super far established, especially if he's going to be part-time moving forward, then it makes sense to have CM Punk go ahead and continue reigning. So I'm like, it could have gone either way, but but the win or losses, make no mistake about it, the wins or losses for both these guys, whoever came out the win, it certainly wouldn't have mattered in the sense that it doesn't hurt neither of them because they're so established. And that was the thing about the main event here. So yeah, I just thought it was fantastic, and both guys absolutely delivered. And shout out to man 0001 in the chat, says Punk should have won. He hasn't had a WrestleMania win since 2012. Well, yeah, he did spend like a decade away from WWE. Yeah, that's when he beat Chris Jericho at WrestleMania 28. But you know what? I'm thinking he can get a WrestleMania win next year and everything. But you know what? Still, you know, in Man 0001, I know you're a big fan of CM Punk, obviously, too. We both are Chicago natives for CM Punk and everything. But I'm just really glad CM Punk got not one, but two main events. There was a time where just the thought of even getting a CM Punk main event seemed far-fetched when he was in WWE. And then when he left for so long and was in AEW, man, like I was thinking, like, is CM Punk gonna even ever get that moment at WrestleMania and stuff, ever gonna be able to main event and become world champions? Like who knew? And the fact that he was able to come back and get it, and even then it looked like they were gonna finally give it to him at WrestleMania, a bit probably near WrestleMania 40, and then man, look at that. He at WrestleMania 40, then it's like dang, he got injured. So it has been a long journey, and I'm just really proud as a CM Punk fan to be able to look back and know that, man, CM Punk, you know, our Chicago native, our boy, our, you know, longtime fans, we've been able to see him, you know, get those WrestleMania main events too. So, and his first one-on-one main event at WrestleMania. So he's closed night 7, Saturday and Sunday, you know, like Roman Reigns, he's closed both nights. So yeah, that was really awesome to see. But yeah, overall, like I said, this is a fantastic match. Like this is going to be a memorable match that will be remembered for years to come. And I'm just going to talk about some of the post show here too, as the consequences of this match looks like they're going to be directly falling with what is coming and stuff like that. So what we ended up getting on the post show, basically some of the things I got down here is Oba Femi is asked what's next, and he flat out calls out Roman Reigns and says the OTC can come get it. Honestly, another reason why I think they put the title on Roman Reigns is because, and I was kind of thinking about this going into the show. One, I think because also Cody and Roman Reigns are both in the Street Fighter movie, and so they want that idea of both of them being world champions in there. I believe that movie's due to come out in October and all that stuff and everything. So that's probably another reason why they're doing that. And from here, Roman shows, what did Roman and then from there, another reason why they put Oba Femi over so big tonight. And with them doing such a big job of putting him over tonight, you have to believe that the next direction would be Roman Reigns versus Oba Femi, because Roman Reigns is kind of like now what The Rock was in 2002 at SummerSlam against Brock Lesnar. You could do Oba Femi as now that new Brock Lesnar type. So I'm like, oh, okay. And Roman Reigns basically was saying on the post show that Oba did a big thing tonight by beating Brock Lesnar, but he beat Brock many times. So he's like, he wants to see what Oba can do this summer, and then we come back to him, which is kind of funny too, because the thing is, Roman Reigns, though he's beaten Brock Lesnar majority of the times that they've wrestled, it is basically Roman Reigns he never got a clean win over Brock Lesnar. It was either Braun Strowman was out there basically with the briefcase and it was serving as a distraction, or they had the Usos constantly getting getting interfere, or Roman basically would, when the referee wasn't looking, would do the low blow and beat Brock and stuff. And especially their last match, man, they took Roman and everything under the sun for Roman to finally beat Brock with his family and Paul get involved and all that stuff. So that could be something that could be used in the storyline with Oba Femi, basically, where he can be like, well, I beat Brock Lesnar one-on-one without any interference, any outside, any dirty tactics, outside interference or dirty tactics. It was just me, my strength, face-to-face with Brock, and I beat him in the middle of the ring. So I think that would be fantastic. So I'm looking forward. This could be what they are setting up as one of the big main events for SummerSlam. So yeah, purely speaking from a story standpoint, Roman, he never got that clean win over Brock Lesnar, but Oba did. And that, I think, would make a big statement for sure. Definitely. So overall, when it comes to WrestleMania Sunday, yeah, it blew WrestleMania 42 night 1 Saturday out of the park, out of the water, did a whole big punt kick to it, because man, this was fantastic. I would say overall it was kind of like I guess you could kind of say a half decent WrestleMania overall when you think of WrestleMania 42, because night 1 it was decent, it was all right, and WrestleMania night 1 was like decent and okay, but night 2, that was fantastic. That was really great stuff. And so we get a case where we kind of had like half the show for the first night is all right, and then the next show was like, man, it was great. Had night 1 match what night 2 was, we could be talking about one of the all-time great WrestleManias here, but unfortunately it is what it is. But overall, I did have fun with the show. Like I said, I didn't think WrestleMania 42 was bad. It just was very lopsided in terms of its great moments and its low moments and stuff like that. So to answer your question, Shanks, what was my opinion on Paige? In short, I thought it was fantastic. It was a great emotional moment to see Paige get back in the WWE when she was once told she'll never be able to wrestle again. I'm glad she's back to basically, turn it up in the ring with with her generation of women that came up with her that she unfortunately was not able to have those banger matches with because she had got injured, the career-ending injury at the time when she was when a lot of those women started coming to the main roster. And then, of course, so many of the newer generation women have come up. So yeah, I'm definitely am glad that Paige is back for sure. The man 0001 says he hadn't had a WrestleMania win since 2009 before that. Yeah, so 2009 was when he won the Money in the Bank, and then he finally won with the WWE Championship at WrestleMania and stuff. Yeah, like I said though, it doesn't take away anything less. CM Punk still has had a wonderful WWE career overall, and I think a lot of this run that he's having now, I think is kind of made up for some of that stuff in his older run. You think of someone like Asuka, who has never gotten a win at WrestleMania. She wasn't even put on the WrestleMania card this year. Still one of the greatest, most decorated women in WWE history of all time. So yeah, it would be nice to see CM Punk get another win for sure, but you know what, still I think an amazing career, so for sure, and all that stuff and everything. So yeah, like I said, I'm still just happy that Roman Reigns and CM Punk put on an absolute banger of a WrestleMania main event, man. So I'm fans of both of them, so I'm glad to see it and everything. Until then, guys, I'll be back either later today or tomorrow with that ranking review for WrestleMania. So until next time, make sure to take care. You can follow and like on my social media accounts, both in the description and pinned comment below. Until next time, guys, take care.